The following programs were originally aired live, long before the advent of high fidelity, and they were recorded using a variety of means, from direct recording onto early audio tape and glass records, to simply placing the microphone of a wire recorder in front of the speakers of a radio playing the program. I hope, however, that any variance in audio quality will not take away from your pleasure in listening to these, some of the all-time favorite shows.
The following program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
Next guest will give you the laughs, just don't ask him to lend you money. It's Jack Benny coming up next.
Now at the U.S. Naval Auxiliary Air Station at 29 Palms, the Lucky Strike program. Starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Larry Stevens, and yours truly, Don Wilson. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from this spot on the desert that has 29 palms, we bring you a man with a spot on his head that has 29 hairs. And here he is, Jack Benny.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Hello again. This is Jack Benny talking. And, Don, I don't mind you reaching a little for a laugh, but you don't have to go that far. Only 29 hairs.
I'm counting the two on your chest.
Oh. Oh, those. You know, Don, I'm kind of proud of those two hairs. I've even named them.
Named them?
Yep. Abercrombie and Fitch. Abercrombie is the one on the left, but Fitch has been with me a little longer.
Now, wait a minute, Jack. Fitch is a hair tonic.
I know, Don. In fact, if it wasn't for Fitch, I would have lost Abercrombie. And, Don, this may sound silly, but they really helped me get around. Why, when I came up to the main gate this morning, the guard saluted and let me right through.
The guard saluted you?
Yep. As I reached the gate, my shirt blew open. He saw the two hairs on my chest and thought I was an ensign. You don't have to laugh, fellas. You know, I used to be in the Navy. And believe me, Don, if I were still in the Navy, I'd want to be stationed right here at 29 Palms. Yes, sir. I don't know. There's nothing like the desert. It's so beautiful, so colorful. Really, so romantic. Every bit of it.
Jack, how can you stand there with your pants full of cactus and say the desert is beautiful, colorful, and romantic?
I'm merely repeating what it says on the bulletin board.
Bulletin board?
Yes, it says, from Lieutenant Commander Smith to the personnel at 29 Palms. You will find this desert beautiful, colorful, and romantic. That's an order. Well, you see, Don, this place is... Oh, hello, Mary.
Hello, Jack. Hiya, fellas.
Well, Mary, here we are at 29 Palms. Certainly different from the other camps we visited, isn't it?
It sure is, Jack, but that's because it's so isolated.
Oh, I don't think so, Mary. This place isn't so far out in the desert.
It isn't, huh? Then how come when they give the boys a pass, they give them a canteen of water at the same time?
A canteen of water?
Yes, and if they sip it sparingly, they can make it to the main highway.
Mary, stop exaggerating.
Exaggerating? Jack, this afternoon I was taking a walk in the desert. I happened to pass two sailors.
Uh-huh.
So one of them came over, looked at me, blinked his eyes, looked at me again, then turned to his friend and said, "Hey, Steve, we must be winning. They've got these things back in production again."
Those boys were just kidding you. I'll bet at least half of these fellas have seen girls before. Anyway, they were just trying to get acquainted. After all, you're the only girl here.
Well, if I am, I'm not very popular. When we arrived, I was wearing my prettiest dress, and yet all the fellas flocked around down Wilson.
That's right, Jack. They hung around me for hours.
Well, why wouldn't they, Don? It's the first time they've seen so much shade in one lump. My little joke. Let's be honest about it. The weather isn't bad out here at all, is it?
Jack, nobody's going to punch you in the nose. It's hot and it's dry, so what? You might as well admit it.
Now, Mary, it isn't hot. Oh, here comes Larry Stevens. I'll prove it to you. Say, Larry, do you think it's dry up here? Larry, it isn't so dry up here, is it? Larry, stop licking your lips and answer me.
Oh, I feel better now, Mr. Benny. Hello.
Larry, how do you like it here? This is a nice spot, isn't it?
Yes, but isn't it strange having a naval station so far from the ocean?
Well, that's not unusual, Larry. When I was a sailor in the First World War, I was stationed at Great Lakes, and I went through my entire naval career without seeing either the Pacific or the Atlantic.
Yeah, but at least you saw Lake Michigan.
No. I didn't see that either.
But you must have seen it. The Great Lakes Naval Station is right on the shores of Lake Michigan.
Mary, when I joined the Navy, I spent my first night in a hammock. When I got up, I was so bent over, I didn't see anything but the guy in back of me for the next 3 years. I didn't mind being bent over, but every time I sat down, I rocked myself to sleep. It was awful, you know?
But, Jack, how could you get so doubled up from sleeping?
Well, Don, it was my first experience with a hammock. How did I know you weren't supposed to hang both ends on the same hook? They should give directions with those things.
Gee, Mr. Benny, it must have been terrible walking around bent over like that for 3 years.
No, Larry, it worked out very well. After leaving the Navy, I went into vaudeville as the only talking U-turn in the country. Anyway, kid, I knew that would hit Remley. Anyway, kid, now that you're here, I'm sure the boys would like to have a song. How about it?
Okay.
Hold it a minute. Come in.
Mr. Benny,
Yes, what is it, sailor?
is it true that when you do your show at a camp, the boys always give you a souvenir?
Why, yes. Once I played at an infantry camp, and they gave me a rifle. Another time, I was at an air base, and they gave me a parachute. Just 2 weeks ago, I played at a boot camp.
And they gave him the boot.
Mary. She's just jealous because my sunsuit is more daring than hers. Anyway, it's true. When I play at a camp, the boys usually get together and give me some sort of a souvenir to take home with me.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, Mr. Benny, because the boys here voted to give you something, too.
Well,
In fact, there are so many things we'd like to give you, you can take your choice.
my choice?
Yep, you can have the desert, the palms, the wind, the sand, the rabbits, the sagebrush, the cactus.
Wait a minute,
The
fellas.
heat, the dust, the gophers, the coyotes, the snakes.
Sailor,
the
wait a
tents, the dunes, the bees, the breeze.
Larry, you
the
better
blood,
sing.
the stripes, the marsh, the hunt.
Larry, sing.
The yuccas, the lizards, the bunions.
Now, wait a minute, Larry.
You belong to my heart, now and forever, and our love had its start.
The snakes, the mugs, the bugs, the
Sailor, please.
the moon, the stars, the stars, the
Now, cut that out. Sailor, will you please sit down? Thank you. That was Larry Stevens singing The Stars, the Tars, the Bar. I mean, you belong to my heart. And now, fellas, for our feature attraction tonight, we're going to...
Okay, sailors, you're all in clover because Harris is here and I'm taking over. Yes? Yes, sir. You can beat those little piggies together now. Applause me, kids. Applause me.
Applause me? Phil, you always have to be so late. What took you so long getting here?
Well, I'm sorry, Jackson, but I couldn't get a lift, so I walked over from the ship's service store.
Oh. Well, now that you're here, I wish that
Just a second, Jackson. Hold it a minute. I want to get a little sand out of my shoe.
Okay. Gee, all that sand?
Yeah. Well, I'll be darned. I got a gopher in there, too. Small one.
A gopher?
I'm afraid to take off the other shoe. I might find gravel Gertie.
Phil, stop. Phil, stop making up those...
Oh, Jackson, I'm only kidding. I'm just kidding you. I really love it here at 28 Palms.
Phil, it's not 28 palms, it's 29 palms.
It's 28.
29.
28.
29.
28.
29.
That's 28.
You keep out of this.
Oh.
You can take my word for it, Phil. It's 29 palms. How do they get in from New York like that? And now,
Wait a minute, Jackson. Hold it just a minute. You know, I meant to tell you. Friday night, I saw the opening of your new picture, The Horn Blows at Midnight, at Warner Brothers Theater.
Oh, yes, the horn blows at midnight. How'd you like me?
I don't know. I blew at 10:30.
Don't tell me you have the picture here already. What?
At 10:30.
And, Phil, you don't have to make any cracks in my picture, because if I must say so myself, I give a dynamic performance.
You do, eh?
I certainly do. Did you read what the critics said about me?
Yes.
Oh. And now, fellas, for our feature attraction tonight, we're going...
The critics said Jack Benny's performance...
I know what they said. You don't have to repeat it. And now, fellas, for our feature attraction tonight...
Jack, I saw your picture and I thought you were wonderful.
Nobody's asking... What? What did you say, Don?
I said I saw your picture and I thought you were wonderful, but I was a little disappointed in the credits.
Why? I got star billing.
I know, Jack, but I mean the other credits. You know where it says music by Waxman, makeup by Westmore, and gowns by Milo?
Well, what's wrong with that?
Well, they should have added cigarettes by Lucky Strike.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Don, in the movies, they can't credit every incidental thing.
But, Jack, Lucky Strikes aren't incidental. They're made from the finer, the lighter, the naturally milder tobacco.
Well, Don, I agree with you, but tell me, in which scenes did you think I did my best acting?
Well, to tell you the truth, Jack, I didn't see your picture.
What?
When I noticed that they didn't give Lucky Strike credit, I got up and walked out.
Well, Don, if you didn't see the picture, how did you know I was wonderful in it?
You told me that 2 weeks ago.
Oh. And now,
Hey, Jackson, I want to ask you something. If you're so good in that picture, how come the day it opened in Los Angeles, you were hiding in Palm Springs?
I wasn't hiding. You know very well I subleased William Powell's house. He's not using it for a month.
What are you paying him for, Jack?
Well, ordinarily, he rents it for $150 a month. But since we're such good friends, he insisted that I take it for nothing. But I told him it was ridiculous, and I gave him $10. You know, I just couldn't be a stinker. Now, let's see, where were we? Ooh. Oh, yes, married. Oh, yeah, tonight, fellas, we're going to present a dramatic play entitled... Excuse me, I'll get it. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Benny, this is Rochester.
Hello, Rochester. What do you want?
I thought I'd better call you, boss. Mr. William Powell was here and examined his house, and the things he said about you.
Why? Why, was he mad?
Mad? You know how he usually speaks in that nice, quiet, subdued voice?
Yes.
Well, today he sounds like Donald Duck with his tail on fire.
Well, Rochester, how did he happen to get so angry?
Well, it worked up slowly. When he learned you were renting out rooms, he got red in the face. Then when he found out you'd start a cocktail lounge in the den, his face got purple.
Purple?
Yeah, and by the time he saw the slot machines, you couldn't tell him from me.
Gee, he really must have been sore, huh?
I'll say he was. Even his lawyer couldn't calm him down.
His lawyer, did his lawyer come out with him?
No, the lawyer came out with the chief of police.
You mean the chief of police was there?
Yeah, he arrived shortly after the sheriff.
Sheriff, chief of police. I wonder what he figures on doing.
I don't know, but you couldn't be worse right now if you were Hitler in San Francisco.
Rochester, well, don't worry about it. I'll straighten the whole thing out when I get home. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Oh, say, Rochester, I want you to go to bed early tonight because I'm going to play golf in the morning, and I want you to caddy for me.
But, boss, I'm all tired out from caddying for you yesterday.
Oh, stop complaining. A 9-hole course is nothing.
Nothing for you, but how about me? A golf bag, 12 clubs, a basket of sandwiches, a gallon of lemonade, a first aid kit, and a parasol.
For what?
You don't need a caddy, you need an octopus.
Oh, Rochester, you don't carry so much.
I don't. Remember what happened last time I went out loaded down like that?
What happened?
An old prospector tied a rope around my neck and led me off into the mountains.
Well, why did you go with him?
I couldn't see where I was till he unloaded me.
Unloaded you? Stop making things up. Anyway, I'm going to play golf in the morning, and I want you to caddy.
Okay, boss, I'll caddy for you, but tomorrow let's be sporting about it.
What do you mean, sporting?
If we lose the ball, let's call it fate and finish the game anyway.
All right, Rochester, then we can leave the flashlight home. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I wonder why he let that prospector lead him all around the mountain. Play, which traces the history of that jewel of the desert, 29 Palms. Now, in this sketch, Mary, you and I play a pair of pioneers, the first settlers of 29 Palms. You're my wife, Mandy. I'm your husband, Randy. And Larry, you're going to be my son, Sandy.
That's dandy.
Now, Phil, you're going to be one of my neighbors. And Don.
Yes, Jack?
You're going to be the 29 Palms. So sit down and branch out. And now for our play, the history of 29 Palms, or I'll be with you in Cactus Blossom Time. Our scene opens in a little shack in the middle of the desert that's so beautiful, so colorful, so romantic. Oh, Mandy.
What is it, Randy?
Have you seen Sandy?
Last time I seen him was 2 days ago. A couple of rabbits were chasing him.
2 days ago? Why didn't he come home?
I don't know. I guess they got him traced somewhere.
They did it again, eh?
Yep. Doggone, every time we got kid of ours out of the house, the rabbits play with him.
Well, it's your own fault, Ma. I told you should have straightened those 2 front teeth of his.
I guess you're right, Paul. I knew we were going to have trouble with that kid the day he was born.
What do you mean?
When the doctor held him up by his ears.
Oh, yes. Here he comes now. Hop on in, son. Hi, Sandy.
Hello, Randy.
Are you hungry, Sandy?
A little, Mandy.
Have some candy, Sandy.
I don't like Sandy candy.
I didn't say the candy was Sandy, Sandy. Did I, Mandy?
No, Randy, and he
Well,
can't
that's
have it
enough
till
of that.
after dinner.
What'd you say?
I said he can't have it till after dinner. Sit down, son.
Well, what do we got to eat, Ma?
Oh, Well, you can have your choice. Fried yucca, mashed tumbleweed, or spaghetti and cactus balls.
As for me, more spaghetti and cactus balls, but leave off the spaghetti.
Okay.
Who can that be? Come in. Hello, stranger.
Well, howdy do. I heard I had neighbors, so I thought I'd drop in.
Well, what do you know? Say more. We got a neighbor.
Well, howdy, neighbor. Which house do you live in?
Oh, that little white house down there, about 200 miles east.
Hey, they're really building this place up.
Don't worry, Ma. It's just a boom that can't last.
Say, neighbor, you making much money raising these rabbits?
That's my son. And by the way, his name is Sandy, I'm Randy, and my wife is Mandy.
Sandy, Randy, and Mandy. Well, what a coincidence.
Why, what's your name?
Fitzgerald.
That don't rhyme with anything around here. But you know, stranger, we've been living here on this desert for nigh on to 50 years, and you're the first person ever called on us. What brings you here?
Well, I'm kind of running out of water, and I thought maybe you'd let me have some.
Running out of what?
Water.
What's that?
Now, wait a minute. Now, hold on. You mean to say you ain't never heard of water?
Nope.
Say, Pa, don't stand there arguing on such a hot day. Let's go take a dip in the swimming pool.
A swimming pool? Say, if you folks ain't never heard of water, what do you got in that pool?
Sand, silly.
Sand in a swimming pool?
Yep, and there's a 50-foot diving board.
Hold on, stranger. Hold on, stranger. You can't dive in no pool filled with sand.
Who can't? Go ahead, Sandy. Climb up there and show him.
Okay, Paul.
Now, wait a minute, Paul. He's my son as well as yours. I ain't going to let him dive off that 50-foot board into that pool of sand like that. Not and put your bathing cap on.
Doggone, there's nothing like mother love.
You're right up on the diving board, Paul.
Okay, son, let her go. Well, anyway, Ma, we got his teeth fixed. Took a long time to trick him into it.
Well, neighbors, I ain't staying around this deserted place any longer. I'm going to where there's civilization, where there's live people, bright lights, and excitement.
Where's that?
Yucca Valley.
Yucca Valley? Say more. That sounds like the kind of a place we ought to visit. Yucca Valley. Let's hitch up the wagon and go. Chicks and ducks and geese better hurry when I take you out in the surrey. When I
Hey, Pa, don't sing that song.
Why not?
Ain't been written yet.
Well, I wish they'd hurry. I like it. Well, we're all hitched up. Let's go.
Okay, but wait just a minute. Before we start on such a long trip, we ought to have some refreshments. You got any brandy?
Brandy? I don't know. Hey, Mandy, we got any brandy handy?
I don't know, Randy. I'll ask Sandy.
Never mind. I ain't going through that again. Now, come on. Let's get started for the big city, Yucca Valley.
Okay, I hope it's cooler there.
Oh, Mandy, it ain't so hot here.
It ain't, eh? On the way over, I saw a tongue coming down the road with a dog hanging out.
Never mind, let's get started. Everybody in the wagon. Giddy up. Giddy up.
Wait a minute, hold it just a minute. Here comes somebody staggering toward us.
Where?
There, he's a stranger. Looks like he's been lost in the desert for weeks.
Yeah, look at that wild look in his eyes. Oh, stranger. Stranger.
At last I'm here. At last, civilization, people, excitement, life. It was a long trip, but I made it. I made it.
Take it easy, stranger. Where'd you come from?
Yucca Valley.
Yucca Valley? Well, why did you leave there?
The desert, the palms, the wind, the sand, the rabbits,
Stranger.
the snakes,
Stranger,
the
hold
cats,
on.
the heat.
Wait a minute.
The gophers, the coyotes, the snakes,
Take it easy,
the cats, the dogs, the
I'm trying to do it again.
the bugs, the tigers, the mice, the hunt, the here's my good friend Basil Rysdale.
Quality of product is essential to continuing success.
Sold American.
In a cigarette, it's the tobacco that counts. And Lucky Strike means fine tobacco.
Tales of espionage are coming at you with CounterSpy next.
And now, the Gulf Oil Companies and your neighborhood good Gulf dealer present CounterSpy.
Washington, calling David Harding, CounterSpy. Washington, calling David Harding, CounterSpy.
The Gulf Oil Companies and your neighborhood good Gulf dealer are proud to present
CounterSpy, a program especially designed to help investigate and combat the enemies of our country, both at home and abroad.
This is David Harding. All the enemies of our country at home do not operate in the realm of espionage. There are some who, for selfish reasons, would interfere with the flow of goods and military supplies to our allies and armies abroad. Such a man was Sid Fergus, a West Coast gangster who was out to seize control of Pier 137, a vital waterfront shipping terminal. But there were those ready to stand up against Fergus. Charlie Keno, for one.
He can keep his money. He can try all the tricks in the books, but Fergus isn't getting me off this dock.
Sid Fergus tried all the tricks in the books on Charlie Keno, shape-up boss on Pier 137. But none of them worked. Your CounterSpy organization, though lacking the jurisdiction to act at the time, kept careful watch and reports were regularly dispatched to this headquarters. One report described a situation which took place on Pier 137 on the evening of August the 18th.
Sam, Jerry, give Al a hand with the number 2 crane. Hey, Walt, when you get through loading the number 4 hold, come and see me in the office, eh? That's not parked over here. Hey, Keno. Huh? Hiya, friend. I thought I told you, Weaver, never to put foot on this dock again. Sid Fergus sent me. Didn't I tell you the next time I'd throw you right out on your ear?
Look, you don't have to make it so personal. I didn't do anything to you, Keno.
You work for Fergus. That's personal enough for me.
Fergus has got a no proposition he wants to talk to you about. Now, what do you say?
Here's what I say, Weaver. Hey, let's go. We can tell Fergus for me. Here is my answer to all his propositions. Come on, get up. Get up. Sorry. Sorry for that, Keno. Very sorry. You're the one who'll be sorry if you ever show up on this pier again. Now, so help me if I ever find you around here again. I'll tell you something. Now, get out and stay out.
The district attorney has presented the state's case against my client in a clear, if somewhat overdramatic manner. But now, if it pleases the court, I should like to make only one important point. This, Exhibit A, this glass vial which contains, according to my illustrious opposition, a portion of the lethal poison which killed the victim, poison found in the home of my client. And this, mark you, is the only fragment of evidence that the state has produced against my client. I shall now prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that this one piece of supposed damning evidence is absolutely worthless by drinking the contents of this vial. And there you have it, Cora.
Well, you really drank the stuff, Mr. Ross?
Mm-hmm. Just as I drank that cocktail. And I'm alive to tell you about it, my dear, just as it happened in that courtroom 10 years ago. Well, naturally, the case was immediately dismissed.
Well, then your client was innocent. Huh?
Guilty as sin.
But you drank that stuff and nothing happened to you.
Nevertheless, it did contain a slow-acting poison.
But how...
Remember I said a slow-acting poison.
But I still don't see...
Everything was in readiness, you see. The second the case was dismissed, I rushed to a building across the street from the courthouse, where a stomach pump was waiting. Within 3 minutes, the lethal dose was out of my system. Clever, Cora?
Well, sure, Mr. Wallace, but still you took a terrible chance.
Well, I figured it worth the gamble, considering my $10,000 retainer.
And your client got away with murder.
Yes, but not the second time.
Second?
2 years later, he chose a more obvious weapon, a gun, in eliminating a competitor. He died in the gas chamber for that infraction, and that was quite a shame.
After all you did to save him, huh?
Well, I wasn't thinking of him. Myself. Before entering the chamber, a sudden and unfortunate stroke of conscience prompted him to reveal the true facts of his first trial.
Uh-oh. And that got you into trouble, huh?
Well, among other things, I was disbarred.
You've done all right for yourself, Mr. Wallace.
Financially, yes. But money isn't everything.
No? What is?
Well, I suppose it is a great deal, Cora, but I do miss the dramatic moments that a trial can hold.
Don't you got enough dramatic moments these days, handling Sid Ferguson's business and your other clients?
In a way, but I really prefer to operate in front of the curtain rather than behind it.
Well, if I were you, Mr. Wallace, I wouldn't complain at all.
Right now, Cora, I have only one strong complaint.
Which is?
You keep calling me Mr. Wallace.
Oh? What should I call you?
Well, under these conditions, what do you think?
James?
Jim?
Jim. Better?
Mutt. Pardon. Get yourself a drink.
I will. But don't make it long, Jim.
I won't. Hello? Oh? When? Yes. I'll be there. Bye.
Oh, that was quick.
Cora.
Something wrong, Jim?
No, but I will have to beg off tonight's date.
Business?
Well, of course. What else could tear me away?
Oh, you can't wait until tomorrow?
I'm afraid not. I've got to leave immediately.
I had to lie to meet you tonight. You know, it wasn't easy for me to get away.
I know that, Cora, but this really can't be helped. A very important client is waiting.
Well, can I go with you?
Ordinarily, I'd be delighted to take you along, but not with this particular client.
Why not?
Well, he happens to be your boyfriend, Sid Fergus.
What took you so long, Wallace?
Sorry, Fergus. The rain made the shore road very slippery. Where's Bert Weaver?
He's inside waiting.
And Charlie Keno?
Just like I told you on the phone, in the bedroom, out cold.
The gun?
Weaver's got it.
Then everything's ready.
Yeah. One in the house.
Weaver took the lease on this beach house as I planned it?
Yeah, and he's been living here since last Wednesday.
That's good.
Now, go ahead, Tom.
Hi, Mr. Wallace. Good evening, Bert. Here's where Keno gets his. That's it, huh? That's right, Bert. Here's where. And he'll never push nobody else around now, will he, Constable? It's not likely, Bert. And from here on, with Keno out of the way, you'll be handling things with Pier 137, huh, Sid?
Yeah, Bert. From here on, I'll be in the driver's seat. Let's have the gun.
Yeah. Here it is, Sid. All ready. Safety catch off and everything. Have any trouble getting it, Bert? No trouble at all, Constable. Well, then, Fergus, I'd say everything is set.
That's right. Everything.
This is what I've been waiting for.
Oh, Bert.
Huh?
Where are you going?
The bedroom to drag Keno out of here. You won't have to do that, Bert. Oh, you're going to give it to him in there, huh?
Well, then, we're not giving it to Keno at all.
Yeah, but...
we're letting the officials take care of Keno. Isn't that it, Counsel?
That's the way I'm arranging it, Bert. Well, look, I don't get this. Then what's all the setup for, Sid?
You tell him, Wallace. You're the legal brain.
The setup is to prove an airtight case of murder against Keno.
Murder?
Well, I still don't get it.
Get it now, Bert? It's all set up, Bert. Set up for us when Keno threatened to kill you.
Sorry, Bert. This is the best and legal way.
Oh. Hello?
Harding, Peter.
Where are you?
Headquarters.
What time is it?
2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but that's not important.
It is when you went to sleep at 1:30.
Look, get dressed and pack. We're taking a plane for the West Coast in 35 minutes. I'll drive by to pick you up in 10.
Why the sudden rush, Chief?
Murder. I'll explain in the car.
Well, that's the preliminary report, Peter. Charlie Keno has been arrested for the murder of Bert Weaver. That's a shame for Keno. Yeah, it's a shame, too, for every stevedore working on Pier 137 out there. I mean, this is a chance for Sid Fergus to walk in and take over. A chance he's been waiting for. Yeah. But it's also a chance for us to walk in. I was about to ask you that, Chief. Why are we flying out? We still don't have any jurisdiction. We do now, Peter, under the National Firearms Act. The murder weapon? Yeah, that gun was transported over state lines 6 days ago, so we're free to act in the case now. You know, Mr. Harding, I've been thinking. Now what? Fergus could have created this situation himself. I mean, the bad blood between Keno and Bert Weaver. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Well, from what you've heard so far, Chief, is there any possibility that Keno didn't actually commit the murder? From everything I've heard so far, it looks very bad for Charlie Keno. Especially the gun. The gun? What do you mean, Chief? It was Keno's. He bought it in Nevada 6 days ago.
Sometimes winter can sure be a pain in the neck. We mean when you get in your car these cold, frosty mornings, and you press the starter, but nothing much happens. And you're right where you started. Or rather, where you didn't start. Now, here's what you can do about it. Keep her filled up with new winter-grade Gulf No-Nox gasoline. Because winter-grade No-Nox is the surefire gasoline that starts your engine going in stopwatch time. No-Nox gives you the quickest start your car can make, all winter long, up north or down south. And that surefire No-Nox power guards against stalling in traffic, gives a wonderful smoothness on the open road. Just think about all these advantages you get with winter-grade No-Nox. Quick start, fast warm-up, less choking, less stalling. And all these, save on gasoline. So with new No-Nox, you get the greatest mileage possible. So keep your tank filled up with winter-grade Gulf No-Nox gasoline. And now back to CounterSpy and Jim Wallace's apartment on the West Coast.
Now, Mr. Bronson, you say that on the night in question the defendant was in your cafe.
Yes, sir, he was.
Will you please describe his condition?
Well, Counselor, he'd had quite a few to drink.
You mean he was inebriated?
Yeah, that he was, sir, that he was. If that means he was drunk.
Did you notice anything special about him that night?
Yes, sir, I did. I couldn't help but notice.
Notice what, Mr. Bronson?
Well, when he paid his bill, he reached in his coat pocket for the money, and then it fell out on the floor.
What fell on the floor, Mr. Bronson?
A gun.
Well, Fergus, what do you think?
Yeah, you did a good job on Bronson. Thank you.
If he doesn't slip up in court.
Oh, you don't have to worry about me, Mr. Fergus. I got it down pat. Well, is that all, Counselor? I got to get back to the tavern.
That's all, Bronson.
Oh, Mr. Fergus.
Yes, okay. Here's your money.
Much obliged, Mr. Fergus. Well, good night, Counselor.
Bronson, just a minute.
Yes, sir?
Now remember, you never call me or Fergus again. You never get in touch with us. Is that understood?
Sure. Sure, you bet.
Okay, go on. Well, Fergus, it's all over, but the sentencing.
Yeah, I've got to hand it to you, Counselor.
You sure do, Fergus, that $10,000 fee for this matter.
All business, aren't you? Is anything else important? Yeah, but you're too old to learn about it now.
Hello?
Jim, honey, this is Cora.
Oh, how are you, Mr. Ambrose?
Oh, it's still there, huh?
Yes, Mr. Ambrose, but I'm about finished with that matter.
You still love me, Jim?
Yes, that part is definitely settled.
We'll meet at the same place tonight?
By all means.
In an hour?
Exactly. Goodbye, Mr. Ambrose. All business. Now tell me, Counselor, how can you live such a dull life?
I've never been in jail before.
Well, Mr. Keno.
Just don't understand.
Mr. Keno, Mr. Harding wants to hear the facts. Directly from you.
I don't know how it happened. I don't even know how I got down to that beach house.
According to the testimony of Ernest Bronson, you were drinking in his cafe, drinking heavily.
No, Mr. Harding, I'm not a drinker. I just stop by there once in a while for a beer. That's all I ever drink is one beer, maybe two if it was a very hot day.
Well, Bronson also said that when you paid your bill, the gun fell out of your pocket.
I didn't have the gun with me.
But you did buy that gun in Nevada just a week before Weaver was killed with it.
Yeah.
Well, why did you buy it?
Self-protection. There was no telling what Sid Fergus might do to get rid of me.
Well, why did you go to the trouble of buying it in Nevada?
I just didn't want my sister to know about it. I didn't want to scare her or anything.
You didn't have to go all the way to Nevada, did you?
You think I'm guilty too, don't you?
We're not thinking anything right now, Mr. Keno. We just want the facts. The facts may help you. Go on, Mr. Keno.
Well, I was all mixed up. I didn't like the idea of carrying a gun, but I thought it was the best thing to do. I took a trip to Nevada, just a 2-day rest, and while I was there, I made up my mind to buy that gun. That's all there was to it, and it's the truth.
Well, I hope it is, Mr. Keno.
You can believe me, Mr. Hunt.
Look, there's nothing I want more.
I only wanted that gun to protect myself against Fergus and his gang. I never dreamed anything like this would come out.
Well, probably Fergus did, but it wasn't a dream.
What do you mean, Mr. Hunt?
I mean that Fergus wanted to get you off Pier 137 the worst way, so he went about it the worst way.
Yeah, but seems everything is against me. You read everything Bronson said.
Yes, I read it. Now I'm interested in hearing it in person. Come on, Billy.
One beer, coming right up. Yeah, what'll it be, Jen?
You, Bronson?
That's right.
We want to talk to you.
About what?
The Keno case. Suppose we go over to that empty booth and talk.
Why should I talk to you about anything?
Is this identification card reason enough?
CounterSpy. Oh.
Let's go, Bronson.
Yeah, okay. Willie, draw that beer off. I'll be busy for a while.
Go ahead. Sit down. All right, Bronson. Now, suppose you start at the beginning.
Oh, what do you want to hear from me? I told everything to the DA.
Maybe you won't be able to repeat it exactly the same way, Bronson.
Look, what do you take me for?
Possible we might take you for plenty.
Look, I know my rights. You can't intimidate a witness.
Who taught you that? That's the trouble with all you characters. You know your own rights, but no one else's.
I'm a witness. You're treating me like I was the guilty party Keno.
Maybe Keno isn't so guilty.
Well, you can't prove it by me.
We have an idea we can.
Facts are facts, and that's all I know. No matter how much you give me the business. The facts.
It's also a fact that Keno isn't a drinker. Yet you claim he had plenty here the night of the murder.
He did.
Plenty could be one drink if it had been fixed.
Who'd want to fix his drink?
You tell us.
You're barking up the wrong tree, mister. All I know are the facts.
You know Sid Fergus?
I've heard of him.
Do you know him?
No. What do you want from me, anyway?
You stated that the gun dropped out of Keno's pocket.
That's a fact.
Keno tells us he didn't even have his gun with him.
Well, go ahead. Believe him. He's only a murderer.
Maybe he isn't. But maybe you're something about as bad as a murderer.
I didn't do anything. What do you want from me?
You asked that before.
Well, what do you?
The truth.
I gave you the facts.
Not your facts. The truth, I said.
Look, I told you all I know. Now, will you leave me alone?
We'll be back. You might have a change of mind.
No chance.
All right. We'll be back anyway.
session with Bronson, Chief.
And?
He's sticking to his story.
Well, I've got an idea we'll be able to shake his story loose soon.
Something new turn up?
Someone old.
Who?
Someone old on our books.
I don't follow.
The name James Raywald Wallace, does that help you to follow?
Wallace. That slimy shyster?
Mm-hmm.
Where does he fit in?
Well, a surveillance detail on Sid Fergus reports that Wallace and Fergus have frequent business sessions. That mean anything special to you?
Well, Chief, it could mean that Wallace set up the whole deal for Fergus to get rid of Charlie Keno.
Certainly could. Wallace is an expert at deals like that.
Yeah, but prove it. As you say, Wallace is an expert.
Well, we can prove it in time.
Yes, but time is a thing we can't afford.
Yeah. Keno can afford it even less.
What do we do?
Well, for one thing, we'll keep working on Bronson. There's a chance he might still lead us back to Wallace and Fergus.
He hasn't contacted either one of them so far.
Well, he might if we keep up the pressure. And there's something else, Peters, about the relationship between Wallace and Sid Fergus.
What?
A third party.
Who's that?
Fergus' girlfriend, Cora Vincent. The surveillance detail reports some information about Cora Vincent that even Fergus doesn't seem to know. She's very friendly with Wallace, but on a secret basis.
Oh? That's worth knowing.
More than that, Peters. That's worth using. If you listen carefully to what I'm about to say, you can save your car and yourself a lot of trouble. To combat the most common problems in your car's fuel system, Gulf's research engineers have come up with an entirely new formula, a brand new product called Gulf SDL. Gulf SDL is an all-year fuel system conditioner, and here's what it does for your car. First, as a solvent, SDL dissolves troublesome gum deposits in the carburetor and fuel lines. Second, as a dryer, SDL absorbs moisture that frequently condenses and freezes in gas tank and fuel lines. And SDL prevents stalling due to carburetor icing. Third, as a lubricant, SDL helps keep valves free and gives smoother engine performance. Yes, Gulf SDL really does a great job with these three important problems. So next time you drive in at your good Gulf dealers, just tell them to put in a can full of Gulf SDL. Yes, for the life of your car, go Gulf. Go SDL, the all-year fuel system conditioner. Now back to CounterSpy and James Wallace's apartment.
And here, Cora, is the folder on Paris.
Paris. Gorgeous. You been there, Jim?
Yes, following the payment of my penalty to the state, I went there to contemplate my future.
What a place to contemplate.
None better.
That's what I need, Jim. A beautiful place to contemplate my problems.
When we go to Paris, you'll have no problems.
Oh? Who said we're going?
What, you don't want to?
Did I say no?
Well, then.
Oh, girls got to play a little hard to get. When are we going?
Oh, I'd say all my business will be cleared up in 3 months. I could let that ring.
But you wouldn't.
It could be business.
Of course. Better answer.
Hello?
Counselor?
Bronson? Didn't I tell you not to call me?
I can't help myself. A CounterSpy's been keeping at me.
CounterSpy?
That's right. They're in on it. I don't know how long I can hold on. What should I do?
Well, get off the phone first.
Yeah, but
I'll get in touch with you. Don't call me again.
Sounds like trouble, Jim.
Plenty of it. The counterspies are in on the Keno case.
Oh, I guess you want to call Sid then.
I do not.
What?
I've got enough to worry about. You and me. We'll let Fergus worry about himself when his time comes. All right, Cora?
Well,
Well?
All right, Jim. But what do we do next?
You go up to your apartment and pack. I'll pick you up in an hour. And we'll start out on that trip to Paris.
Come on in, Jim.
You packed, Connor?
All ready.
Where are your bags?
Down in the car.
Car? Whose car?
Hi.
Fergus.
Close your mouth. That stupid look doesn't become a slickster like you.
Fergus,
I was right behind that door when you walked in.
Well, but I don't understand.
I sent for Sid.
What?
He told me everything, Counselor.
Huh?
Everything, Jim.
How you plan to skip out on me?
Skip? Well, now, Fergus, I don't know what she said, but I can explain.
Save that golden throat of yours. You'll only be wasting breath. You see, Wallace, Cora here was my insurance against you.
Insurance?
That's right. I had her sort of give me an inside track on you all the time.
You didn't trust me?
Oh, now come off it. I don't have time to laugh.
All right. What are you going to do?
What would you do in a situation like this? The second thing I'm going to do is take Cora and leave this town. And what do you think is the first thing?
Now, believe me, Fergus, that won't be necessary because, after all, I'm as heavily involved in the killing of Bert Weaver as you are, and I can't afford to talk.
I can't afford to take chances. You're much too smart at copping a plea. You want to wait outside, Cora?
Doesn't matter, Sid.
Okay.
Well, you'd be crazy to use that gun in here. It'd be heard throughout the entire building.
No, not this gun, Counselor. This one is as silent as a cat.
Oh! There's nothing silent about this gun, Fergus. All right, Peter, keep covered. Right, Mr. Harding. Mr. Harding? Well, I can explain everything, sir.
Is that right, Wallace?
Yes, sir, I can. Now, to begin with...
You got a phone call tonight from someone you identified as Bronson.
Yes, what?
Only it wasn't Bronson who called. It was me.
Huh?
We decided not to wait till Bronson talked.
Well, that's a shabby
Now,
trick.
before you go any further, let me warn you, Wallace. You're under arrest for complicity in the murder of Bert Weaver. Anything you may say will be held against you.
Yes, but you don't seem to...
Oh. And as for tricks, Wallace, forget about any this time when you get in court. We heard everything said in here. All right, Peters, take them in. Now let's get to the heart of your car, the battery. Almost everything, the lights, horn, radio, even the engine, depend on the battery. Naturally, you want a good battery, husky and strong. Why not drive in at your good Gulf dealers and see the Gulf PowerCrest battery? There's no finer battery in the world. Take the Gulf battery plate, big, wide, and massive to deliver plenty of power. And the separators, special rubber that doesn't warp, split, or char. These special features and many others make the Gulf PowerCrest battery the best there is. What's more, the PowerCrest comes with a warranty, and any Gulf station will back up that warranty. So see your good Gulf dealer and have him check the heart of your car, your battery. Tune in next week, same time, same station, to another exciting CounterSpy report for the American people. Next week, case of the errant heiress. Where there's a will, there's a way has been changed by certain racketeers to where there's a will, there's an heir. Newspaper accounts of the reunion of long-separated relatives have started certain characters on the prowl for missing heirs. And sometimes the result is a complete surprise, even to those in on the racket. Hitherto undisclosed facts will be revealed next week in case of the errant heiress on CounterSpy. CounterSpy was directed by Mark B. Loeb and featured Don McLaughlin and Mandel Kramer with the Oscar Bradley Orchestra. Bill Rogers speaking. CounterSpy is a Phillips H. Lord production for the Gulf Oil Companies and your neighborhood good Gulf dealer. Be sure to see the Gulf Playhouse on NBC television every Friday night. Consult your newspaper for time and station.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
Hey, man, how about we check in with Fibber, Magee, and Molly next? That sounds good to me.
The Pet Milk Program with Fibber, Magee, and Molly. The first evaporated milk, Pet Milk, presents Fibber, Magee, and Molly with Bill Thompson, Gail Gordon, Arthur Q. Bryant, Dick LeGrand, Bob Bruce, and me, Harlow Wilcox. The show is written by Don Quinn and Phil Leslie and directed by Max Hutto, with music by the King's Men and Billy Mills Orchestra. I hear someone say those two were made for each other, I always think of coffee and pet milk. That's right. Coffee and pet milk really are made for each other. Made to blend together perfectly for coffee that's creamy, smooth, mellow, satisfying. Because pet milk is sweet country milk concentrated to double richness by evaporation, it's twice as rich in cream as ordinary milk. Yet, rich as it is, pet milk costs less than half as much as cream. So, you also save money when you use pet milk instead of expensive cream in coffee. Now, if you haven't already joined the millions of coffee lovers who enjoy coffee with pet milk, try it tomorrow. Then you'll know what I mean when I say pet milk and coffee are made for each other. This is the time of year when any man with sporting blood in his veins takes an affectionate look at his golf equipment. And here at 79 Wistful Vista, just coming down from the attic with his bag of golf clubs... we find Mr. Magee of Fibber, Magee and Molly.
Magee, are you hurt, dearie? Are you all right? Did you break anything?
Yeah, I cracked my mashie.
Good heavens. Well, don't move an inch till the doctor gets here.
Huh?
Does it hurt much?
I'll say it does. It cost me $4.95. That's pretty painful.
What do you mean? Oh, your mashie, one of your golf clubs,
Oh,
huh?
yeah. And believe me, kiddo, I'm going to miss it. A good mashie can get you out of more trouble than if your brother is the district attorney.
Well, I wouldn't know about that, sweetheart. To me, a golf course in the spring is just a dumping ground for 6 months of stored-up male profanity.
It's more than that, baby. For a cemetery-type fella that he's not very active most of the time, it's this kind
Not cemetery, Magee. It's sedentary.
Yeah. Yeah, sedentary. Meaning a guy that he's setting down most of the time. For a guy like that, which I happen to be one of him, golf is probably the best form of exercise that he can took. I ever tell you about the hole-in-one I made in Peoria back in 1923?
Did you ever tell me? More times than
Okay, I will. Well, sir, there I was. 185 yards to the green, the wind against me, and my caddy had the hiccups. I stepped up to the tee.
Look, lover, you've told me that story so often I can recite it backwards.
Oh, no.
You want to hear it backwards?
No,
Hiccups, the had caddy mine, me wind against the, and green to the yards 185. Up stepped I.
Okay. Scoff if you want to, deride. But by George, a hole-in-one don't happen to everybody. The day I made mine, it was getting so dark I fell into 3 sand traps on the way home.
Why did you wait till dark to play golf?
I had to. It was at the Peoria Country Club, and I wasn't a member. You know, you ought to learn golf, kiddo.
It's too expensive.
Oh, no. Not necessarily so. Personally, I use second-hand balls, or them that I find. I carry my own bag, I tip no caddies, and all in all, about as cheap a sport as you'd find anywhere.
Oh, you're just self-conscious, Harry.
Well, anyway, it's a great little hunk of recreation. Now, you take this number 4 iron.
You better start with number 1. I'm not very... Come in. Oh, Dr. Gamble. Come in, Doctor.
Thank you, my dear, and good morning to you, drizzle mug.
Hi, melon smuggler. You play golf?
Well, there are 2 schools of thought on that, my boy. I say I do. The pro says I don't.
Oh?
He says I have a swing like I was carrying Kate Smith's piggyback.
Personally, I'm an old hand at the game, Doc. I made a hole-in-one once.
Yes, you've often told us
Back
about
in 1923 it was.
Oh.
Peoria Country Club. Done it against almost impossible conditions. Dark coming on, wind against me.
185 yards.
And a caddy with the hiccups.
Well, sir, I took my driver.
Driver? I didn't even know you had a car in those days.
No. A driver, Molly, is the name of a golf club.
Yeah. Oh.
That's the club with which, theoretically, you get the most distance. Personally, I could send the ball farther by kicking it.
That I can believe. I've seen you do it. You thought I wasn't looking, but I seen you kick it out of that sand trap last summer, boy.
Any other witnesses?
Well, no, but
Then pipe down or I'll have you up for slander.
Okay.
Besides, you shouldn't talk. I heard you ask the caddy once, how do I lie, caddy? And the caddy said with the most brazen effrontery, sir.
Well, it sounds like a nice, honest game that develops good character, and the player who keeps the score is the most likely to win.
You said it, sister. When Doc keeps score, you can hold the card up to the light and see where he's erased his own scores.
Oh, look who's talking. Molly, if you intend to learn golf from Magee, let me tell you just what kind of a sportsman he is.
What's the difference what kind of a sportsman? I know golf, don't I? I made a hole in one, didn't I? 365 yards against the wind and a caddy with the heat cup.
Magee.
Huh?
The doctor was talking.
That's for sure. Well, go ahead, Tattletale.
He accuses me of altering the scorecard. Ask Mail the trivia about the time we played a threesome and Magee kept score.
Oh, well, then.
He won by 15 strokes and took us for $1 apiece.
Oh, I don't see why he had...
We dragged him back to the clubhouse and forced him to admit he'd made out the complete scorecard before he even left home.
Heavenly days, how ingenious.
I still don't know how you guys ever suspected me.
Because our names and the scores were typewritten, you schmo. Watch him, Molly. He's a phony.
Oh, yeah.
Billy Mills, the orchestra, and How High the Moon.
Now, for your first lesson in the finer rudiments of golf, we'll start right here in the front yard.
Good.
Well, here we are in the front yard. Now, I'll drop a ball on the ground here. Yeah, now hand me an iron. Number 8.
And you what? An iron?
Yeah, out of the bag there. Every good golfer carries at least 8 irons with him, Molly.
Well, then why are his pants always so baggy?
Huh?
Most golfers I've seen look like they haven't seen an iron for months.
I'm really starting from scratch with you, ain't I, Tootsie?
Well, I told you I don't know anything about
Well,
the
now,
game.
look, watch this. You see that dish pan I put over there?
My good one.
I'm going to knock the ball into that pan. A chip shot. Now, watch. I keep my head down, left arm straight, short back swing.
Heavenly days. That was wonderful, dearie.
Right in the dish pan, eh?
No, right in the mailbox.
In the mailbox? I must have sliced it.
You certainly did right in two. Here's the other half of it right here.
Well, what do you know? I must have cut
Hold it, dearie. Look who's coming. Hello there, Ole.
Hello, Mrs. Hello, Magee.
Oh, hi, Ole.
What you doing, Mrs.? Teaching Magee to play golf?
No, he's teaching me, Ole. Though personally, I think it's a pretty silly game myself.
Where did you learn to play golf, McGee, if yet?
Who, me? Boy, you're talking to the guy that I made a hole-in-one in 1923. I remember it like it was yesterday. I stepped up to the tee.
Was that in Peoria, McGee?
Yes, it was, Ole.
Yep. 285 yards it was. I stepped up to the tee.
Did the wind against you?
Yep. I stepped up to the tee.
And it was almost dark?
Yep. I stepped up to the tee.
Did you carry with the hiccups, McGee?
That's just right, Ole. He stepped up to the tee.
Yep. I selected my favorite driver, waved to the caddy to move back. Hey, have you heard this before?
McGee, every spring I expect 3 things.
Huh?
Crocuses, house cleaning, and McGee's hole-in-one story. I was saying to my missus just yesterday.
Oh, say, how is your wife, Ole? Well, I hope.
Well, I hope so, too, missus. We have a little trouble at our house today, though. Little Sven, my littlest kid, he's in bed.
Oh, that's too bad. He come down with something, Ole?
Yeah, he come down from the top shelf of pantry with the cookie jar, McGee. When my missus picks up the jar, it got a busted bottom.
Oh.
So she picks up Sven and gives him the same. Yeah.
You ever play golf, Ole?
No, all I know about golf is one day I go out and I watch Merle Trivia play.
Oh, him.
Good relaxation, Ole, he says. Was very confusing to me, McGee.
No, there's nothing confusing about it. What did he do?
Well, first he put a little ball down. Mm-hmm. Then he takes a stick like you got there. He hollers 4 and he knocks the ball in the woods.
Oh, dear.
Mm-hmm. Then we go in the woods and he takes the club and he chops down enough small firewood to last all winter, only he don't hit the ball.
Well, in the rough, it's always...
Then he talks to himself for a little while, and he swings again, and he knocks the ball in the sand pile.
Uh-huh.
We go to the sand pile, and he knocks it back in the woods.
It sounds monotonous.
Then we go back in the woods, and he takes a big swing with the club, knocks the ball in the lake. Throws his clubs in the lake, throws his hat in the lake, throws his caddy in the lake, screams, and he jumps in the lake. It took 3 of us to drag him out, and all the way home he keeps moaning, why don't we let him drown himself?
My God.
If that's relaxation, McGee, I think I took up steeplejacking. Well, so long.
Look, McGee, let's just skip the golf lesson. I think it's a silly game.
Oh, no, baby, you gotta learn. I want you to play golf with me. I'm your husband. You're my wife. This is for companionship. We can be golf pals. Why, I can see us now, when we're in the sunset of life, which won't be long. Strolling down the green fairways, hand in hand.
Still looking for the ball we'll no doubt lose this afternoon. Well, all right, dearie. Let me try it once anyway.
Well, that's the spirit. Now, I'll tee up the ball. There. Now, you take the club and swing at it. Easy. Now, keep your head down. Slow backswing. Left arm stiff.
Quiet a minute. Quiet, and let me concentrate.
Okay.
Like that, you mean?
My gosh, you done it. The very first time.
Well, I just watched how you did it.
Huh?
You aimed at the dishpan and put it in the mailbox. I aimed at the mailbox and put it in the dishpan. Now I think I understand. You shoot for where you don't want it to go. That's why I think this is such a silly.
Molly, that was a great shot. How long have you been playing golf?
About 20 seconds, Mr. Wilcox.
Yeah. I'm learning her how to play the rudiments of the game, Junior.
Well, she looks like a very apt pupil.
Very apt, Mr. Wilcox. Very apt to give it up any minute.
Reason she's catching on so quick, Junior, is on account of because she's being taught by me. Which I'm the guy that he made a hole-in-one in Peoria in 1923. In one. Once.
Hey, Molly, do you know what the greatest hole-in-one in America is?
Yes. In 1923 in Peoria.
No, not that one, Molly. Look, you take an economical housewife, one who watches the budget. She takes a can of pet milk off the kitchen shelf and makes a hole-in-one. Sight of it.
Oh, that's cute, Mr. Wilcox.
Cute, my cuticle. I don't know.
Then she makes another hole in the other side of it, and presto, out comes the most economical, money-saving, rich, wholesome milk that money can buy. Pet evaporated milk.
What kind of club does she use for that, Junior? A brassy? because that's the brassiest approach to a commercial that I ever heard in all my...
Look, it's very easy to see what a good food investment Pet milk is, pal, because Pet, which is just good whole milk.
Speaking of whole, Junior, the one I made in one, back in Peoria, was 185 yards.
You mentioned that, Derry.
Well, Milky does it, too. He keeps mentioning all
Yes, Pet milk is good whole milk concentrated to double richness by evaporation. And Pet milk costs less generally than any other form of whole milk.
Yeah, but what
less than half as much as cream. And that's important, as any housewife knows.
Speaking of nose, I aimed mine at the green that day and sighted down it, and that gave me a hook to the right, see? And...
Look, McGee, I did it again, right in the dishpan.
Well, naturally. When I teach somebody to play golf, it's only reasonable to assume.
Hey. Look, kids, I'm meeting the mayor out at the municipal golf course at 3 o'clock. Why don't you join us and make it a foursome?
Oh, I don't know, Junior. Molly's just a beginner, and with the rest of us being experienced golfers...
Well, that's 3 times in a row.
I wouldn't want you guys to accuse me of, bringing my wife and having her holding up the...
Four it is.
Look, pal, don't worry about your wife holding up anybody's game. Just bring her along to hold you up.
You must be good, Mr. Wilcox. You played in the tournament last year, didn't you?
Yes, but I didn't do very well, Molly. When the scores were all handed in, I wasn't even close.
Tournament player, eh? What was your handicap, Junior?
Honesty.
Oh.
I'll see you out there, kids. 3 o'clock.
Yeah,
see you, Mr. Wilcox.
Well, now then, Tootsie, let's get on with the lesson. When I made my hole-in-one back in Peoria...
Oh, dear, what's so exciting about making a hole-in-one? I've just done it 4 times in a row.
Oh, yeah, but you're a beginner. You got beginner's luck. When you've been...
Well, hello there, kids. What you doing, playing croquet?
Well, hello, Mr. Oldtimer. No, McGee is teaching me golf.
It's a grand old game, Oldtimer. Ever play it?
Well, I never exactly played it, Johnny, but I used to caddy.
Is that so?
I had a rather amusing experience once, which I should like to relate in my humorous fashion.
Please do.
Thank you, I shall. It was just after Papa had to leave Norfolk, Virginia, on account of the mason jar episode.
What was the mason jar episode?
It was when Papa was hired to blow up some stumps near the Shriners Hall and used too much dynamite.
Yeah?
George so many masons, they run him out of town.
You were a caddy at that time, were you?
Yes, daughter. First time I ever caddied was for a lady friend of mine. And when she said, "How was my backswing?" I says, "Frankly, Rosemary," I says, "I prefer it to your front swing because when you sit in your front swing, the street light shines on it so bright
now,
we
wait. Was that the amusing incident?
No, Johnny, that was later.
Oh, I see.
I was caddying for the local golf champion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sir, kids, he wound up and smacked the ball so hard it went clean across the state line into Kentucky. And we got there and see where the ball landed. He was so tickled he sat right down and wrote me a kind of a request number.
A request number? A song, you mean?
What was the name of it?
Caddy me back to old Virginia. Come on, kids.
The King's Men and Ezekiel saw the wheel.
Ezekiel saw the wheel and the wheel and the wheel in the middle, in the middle, in the middle, in the middle of the air. Ezekiel saw the wheel way up in the middle of the air. Oh, Ezekiel saw the wheel way in the middle of the air. The little wheel run by faith and the big wheel run by the grace of God. There's a wheel and a wheel and a wheel and a wheel way in the middle of the air. Some go to church for to sing and shout way in the middle of the air. Before 6 months they is all turned out way in the middle of the air. Ezekiel saw the wheel way up in the middle of the air. Oh, Ezekiel saw the wheel way in the middle of the air. The little wheel run by faith and the big wheel run by the grace of God. There's a wheel and a wheel and a wheel and a wheel way in the middle of the air. Let me tell you what a hypocrite will do way in the middle of the air. You talk about me and you talk about you way in the middle of the air. Ezekiel saw the wheel way in the middle of the air. Ezekiel saw the wheel way in the middle of the air. The little wheel run by hope and the big wheel run by faith. My brothers, one of these days, about 12 o'clock, way up in the of the air. This whole world is gonna reel and rock like Daddy in his rocking chair. Oh, Ezekiel saw the wheel rocking away up in the middle of the air. Ezekiel saw the wheel rocking away in the middle, in the middle, in the middle, in the middle, in the middle of the air. Ezekiel saw the wheel way up in the middle of the air. Oh, Ezekiel saw that wheel away in the middle of the air. And the little wheel run by faith, and the big wheel run by the grace of God. There's a wheel and a wheel and a wheel and a wheel. Way in the middle of the air.
Did you see how that man drove over there, Mr. Mayor? Right into the woods.
Yes, that's my neighborhood butcher, Molly. His life is just one bad slice after another. And look who's talking.
Oh, I wish it was our turn to tee off. I want to get this over with and go home.
Go home? Well, that's a happy little attitude to start off with, Molly. Don't you like golf?
Well, I don't know whether I will or not, Mr. Wilcox. I'm just so sick of hearing about Magee's hole-in-one back in Peoria.
Yes, we know. In 1923, with the wind against him, a caddy with a hiccup.
Hey, wait a minute. Here he comes. Who's that he's talking to, Molly?
Well, I don't know.
That's very interesting, sir. Caddy had the hiccups, did he?
Yeah. It was 85 yards to the green, Bud,
And you had the wind against you?
Yeah. That's how I made my hole-in-one back in Peoria in 1923. Is there any more advice I can give you, Bud? I doubt it.
Well, thank you very much.
Not at all. Hey, fellas, we about ready to tee off?
Yes, just about, Magee.
Say, dearie, who was the good-looking man you were talking to?
It's a fellow named Sneed. Sammy Sneed. Plays little golf. Nice kid. Well, what are we waiting for? I'm ready to start.
Magee, don't you know who Sammy Sneed is?
Sure, he's the guy I was just talking to. Nice kid. Why?
Never mind. But I'll bet this was a big day for him meeting a golfer like you.
Oh, my gosh, anytime I can help a fellow golfer with a few tips on the game.
Hey, come on, we're up.
Okay.
Oh, good.
I'll drive first, fellas, because I want Molly to see how it's done. Because when I made my hole-in-one...
Oh, tee off, Gabby.
This is how I done it. 4.
Nice bunt, dearie. Run it out. Run it out.
That's a practice shot. We call that a mulligan, Molly.
I see. Hit it with your spoon and land in the stew.
Hey, come on, pal. Let's get going.
Oh, okay, now stand back, everybody. Oops. I topped it. Well, that's the way you want to do it, kiddo, only I was just showing you what happens when you raise your head.
I remember.
Yes.
Now, let me see. Head down,
Yep.
left arm straight, slow backswing. Wait a minute. What do I aim for?
Well, the green is just over the top of that little hill, Molly.
Aim for the caddy. He's waving to you.
Oh, yeah.
No, you don't have to wave back.
Oh, well, it seemed a polite thing to do.
Go ahead, kiddo. Go ahead, and good luck.
Yes, just knock it into the cup, Molly, and we'll all go home.
All right.
Sweet Genevieve. What a smack.
Look at it. Clear over the hill.
Not bad, kiddo. That's exactly the way I hit the ball when I made my...
Hole-in-one!
Yeah, my hole-in-one.
What?
What did he say?
It sounded like hole-in-one.
Hole-in-one?
Hole-in-one!
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 Hole-in-one! Hole-in-one!
fun, Magee. I think I might really get interested in golf.
Oh, I don't know. I'm beginning to find the game a little dull. And you know something? I ain't ever going to mention that hole-in-one of mine again that I made back in Peoria in 1923 with the wind against me and the caddy with the... My gosh, what's a hole-in-one?
Well, dearie, now that you've said that, I'm going to tell you something. I want to make a confession.
Yeah?
Yes. I didn't really make a hole-in-one today.
Why, sure you did. I seen it. You walloped that ball.
No.
Huh?
Look, I paid the caddy $1 to drop the ball in the cup for me.
Oh?
It was on the other side of that hill, so nobody...
What? You paid the caddy $1 to sneak you a hole-in-one?
Yes, I did.
Oh.
Are you awfully disappointed in me, lover? I'm terribly ashamed.
Well, you ought to be, baby.
I know, but
a whole $1. Why, back in Peoria in 1923, when I made my hole-in-one, I only bribed the caddy 50 cents. No wonder you're ashamed. You got cheated. That kid's a crook. He ought to be reported to the golf.
Fibber and Molly return in a moment. Keeping up with your family's appetites and keeping food costs down are big jobs these days. But when you cook with Pet Milk, it's easy to fix better, more nourishing meals at lower cost. And here's why. Pet Milk is sweet country milk with more than half the water removed. The result is a concentrated milk that's twice as rich as ordinary bottled milk. This double richness adds extra nourishment to favorite family dishes and makes them taste better, too. And Pet Milk, with its double rich goodness, costs less generally than any other form of milk. Less than half as much as cream. So is it any wonder that Pet Milk is the first choice of good cooks? If you haven't already discovered how extra good Pet Milk can make your favorite foods taste, try it tomorrow. Ask your grocer for Pet Milk, the first evaporated milk.
You know, this whole deal, Molly, the way you made that hole-in-one and all that, that's taught me a very valuable lesson.
Well, good.
It just proved the truth of an old saying that I never should have forgot.
Which old saying is that? Honesty is the best policy?
Nope. A woman's place is in the home.
Oh.
Don't let me forget that, will you? Good night.
Good night, all.
First evaporated milk, Pet Milk, brings you Fibber, Magee, and Molly each week at this time. Be with us again next Tuesday night, won't you?
Well, Silver, wait those thrilling days of yesteryear with the Lone Ranger up next.
A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo Silver, the Lone Ranger. early days of the western United States, a man's life often depended on the quickness of his draw. The local sheriffs were unable to preserve the peace, and it was not until the masked rider of the plains started his great fight for justice that law and order were brought to the lawless frontier. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver! Saddle's waiting for us on the trail ahead. We've got to hurry. Hi-yo, Silver!
It was on a hot, sunny afternoon that the lazy flow of life in Canyon City was startled out of its calm with the sound of a dogfight. When the townspeople saw the dogs involved, they realized it was far more than a casual encounter. They emptied their homes, stores, and cafes to watch the battle. For one of the two dogs, a great black hound, was the property of old Zeb Crump, and the other, identical in appearance except for its color, was owned by Charlie Teal. For years, the two men had been rivals and bitter enemies, and everyone present was aware that this fight typified their hatred. Suddenly, old Charlie Teal, accompanied by the lumbering figure of the sheriff, pushed his way through the crowd in front of the feed store and ran toward the snarling hounds.
Hi there, Lobo. Quit that, you hear me? Here, boy. Lobo, come here. Hey, folks, help me break it up. Give me a hand, won't you? Sheriff, give me a hand. Lobo, stop it, you hear? Stop that fighting this minute. Pete, give me that stick you got. Break it up, you loco critters. Quit it before one of you kills the other.
Yeah, that ain't gonna do no good, Charlie. What are all you idiots standing around doing nothing for? Slam hot foot over the cafe there and get a pail of boiling water. That'll do the trick.
You betcha.
Hey, Charlie, watch out. Here comes Zeb. Thought you ought to know.
That old fool. He'll get his tongue to wagging from both ends again as usual, I suppose.
Don't he always?
Let me through. Go on, get out of my way. All right, if you want to get trampled on, stand aside. Hi there. What's the idea of sticking that hound of yours on mine? I'll have the law on you. I'll have you jailed. You stop them dogs fighting right now.
Now, look here,
Oh,
Zeb.
shut up. I tell you to do something, you do it.
Hey, since when'd you get the right to start giving me orders?
Never mind that. Just...
Now, hold on, Zeb.
Oh, it's you, is it, Sheriff? Where you been all the time? Didn't you hear me calling you?
I was here for you.
Then jail this fella. Go on, jail him.
What for?
For getting his dog to try to kill my dog.
But he didn't. Charlie and me was in the feed store when the ruckus started.
You mean to
Here you
say...
are, Sheriff.
Huh? Oh, the hot water. Well, give me that.
I'll take it.
Yes, it's sure boiling all right. Well, here goes.
There goes Zeb's hound. Look at him go kite.
Boiling water's something he don't take to.
Charlie's dog don't neither.
Now, wait a minute now. Here, Blackie. Hey, come back here. Blackie, you come back.
Well, it looks like Blackie's done scooted for home, Zeb. When you get there, you'll likely find him waiting for you.
Lobo, if you got burned, it plumb serves you right. Picking fights with trash. You ought to be ashamed.
Whose dog you calling trash?
Why, yours. Who just spoke?
Why, you...
That'll be enough, you two. Charlie, you hadn't ought to have said that. Zeb, I reckon to keep the peace, you better climb in your buggy and get on out of town. It ain't safe having you both here at the same time.
Can't make me go, Sheriff, unless you make Charlie, too.
Oh, he's running along. Don't you worry.
All right, then. But, Charlie...
Well?
There's a heap of things to be settled between you and me. This here fight ain't but one of them.
There's nothing to settle that you weren't the cause of. If you wasn't so all fire jealous.
Jealous? What of? You? But that rat sure has...
Now, look, fellas. I don't want to have to keep repeating myself. I said to stop it, and that's what I meant. Now, Zeb, you get.
Sure. But I just aim to tell Charlie this.
What?
Nobody does nothing to folks less than they pay for it, Charlie. So far, you've been right lucky. But one of these days, you'll pay. And when you do, you'll be a mighty sorry man. Goodbye.
Honest, Sheriff, sometimes I think old Zeb's clean loco.
Ain't he always been? I never seen you talk up to him so strong before, though, Charlie. What got into you?
It ain't done no good trying to smooth things over, has it?
No.
Well, then why shouldn't I tell the old idiot where to get off?
Charlie, whatever started all this between you two?
Oh, I don't know.
Ever do Zeb a bad turn?
Well, not that I know of.
Yeah, it's a funny thing. I've been watching. It's like, well, I think you hit it right on the head. It's like Zeb was pious and jealous. I mind when you bought that dog of yours.
Zeb had to have one as near like it as he could get. Only difference between them is mine's white and his is black.
And when you built your new house, he hired every hand he could find to build a bigger.
When I buy a saddle horse, he gets one. Even tried to bribe my foreman to come to work for him, 'cause I claim Nate was the best cowman I ever seen.
Yeah. Well, Charlie, I told Zeb you'd be running along, so I guess you better.
All right, Sheriff. Just as you say. See you again soon, I reckon.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Lobo. You old sinner, you and me are going home.
Yeah, I wish to thunder I knew what was going to come of this.
What was that you said, Sheriff?
Huh? Oh, I wasn't talking to anybody, just to myself.
Yeah?
Don't pay no attention to me, Slim. I was just kind of hoping it don't happen. When I know doggone well it is.
Come on, Silver. Get him up, Scout. As soon as we reach the top of this hill, Tyler, you'll be able to see both places. Zeb's is off to the right, and Charlie's to the left. They're about 5 miles apart. You heard about that quarrel in town the other day, didn't you, Kemosabe? I think I mentioned it. Those 2 hounds they own got into a fight.
Don't remember.
This feud of theirs will have to be brought to an end.
Maybe there'd be plenty trouble.
If it's allowed to go on, I'm afraid there will be.
What lawman do?
The sheriff? Everything he could, Tonto, but it hasn't been enough.
Oh.
And he's been at a disadvantage.
Why that?
Like almost everyone else in this district, he's a friend of Charlie Teal's. He tries to get along with Zeb, of course, but it's difficult for him to hide his dislike. Naturally, Zeb sees that and resents it. Perhaps being strangers, we'll do better.
Zeb, bad feller.
He's a man whose soul has been poisoned by hatred. He knows that he's as wealthy as Charlie, if not even wealthier. His herds are as large. His range is almost limitless. He commands credit to almost any amount at the bank. And he's found that isn't enough.
What you mean?
It's one of those strange quirks of personality. In spite of his wealth and power, he hasn't a real friend in the world. He knows that. Day after day, year in and year out, he's had to see Charlie securing the respect and regard of his neighbors, while he even can't buy a surface respect. Which explains, I think, his craving to imitate Charlie in every way. Whatever Charlie does, Zeb attempts to imitate.
Him heap big fool.
When he learns that imitation can never equal the real thing... Oh, wait. Here we are, Kemosabe. Pull up. Silver. See? That's Zeb's place over there. Over this way is where Charlie lives. There's a deep canyon dividing their range. If you look where I'm pointing, you'll be able to just make it out. Tonto, what's that?
Me see it.
Isn't that 2 horsemen?
Them ride plenty fast.
In fact...
What you think?
Looks as if one were chasing the other. See? They're about 20 or 30 yards apart. They must be following right along the rim of the canyon. Listen.
They're shots.
Come on, Tonto. We'll find out.
Look.
What's up?
Fellow get hit. There. Him fall.
Knocked right out of the saddle. Tonto, let's go.
Get him up, Scout.
Come on, Silver. Hurry, boy. Hurry. Easy there, old fella. Take it easy, boy. We're friends. We're not here to harm you. Watch out for that fella, Tonto. He's vicious.
Me watch out.
Now, let's see what's happened here. This is where the one fellow we saw dropped from the saddle. There's his horse over there. The fellow who shot him kept going. He headed into the mesquite patch there and disappeared.
That right?
We'll see what we can do about picking up his trail later. The thing to do now is find out what happened to the man who was wounded. And, Tonto.
What matter?
I think I can tell you now who that man was.
Who that?
Look at the dog, Tonto.
Him black feller.
Don't you recall who owned a dog like that?
Feller named Zeb.
Right. I've got an idea what's become of him. Here. From the signs, he must have been just about here when he fell. Not 2 feet from the canyon's edge. I don't know if he was wounded badly or not, but if he went over...
You come.
What is it?
You look down there.
Not too close to the edge, Kemosabe.
Not too careful. You look.
I see nothing but those rocks below there. Yes, Tonto. Oh, I see what you mean.
What you think?
Tonto, there's been murder done. That man's dead.
Doggone it all, I put them reward notices in this desk some way. And if they ain't to be found, well, I reckon What the... Masked man!
Sheriff, keep your hands from those guns.
What are you...
This isn't a holdup, and I'm not an outlaw. I brought you news of murder.
What are you...
Sheriff, a friend of mine and I were riding toward the canyon that divides Zeb Crump's range from Charlie Teal's. From a distance, we saw a running gunfight. One man dropped from the saddle.
What's that?
The other rode on. We lost his trail on that malpie over there. But the other will be waiting for you when you get there.
He's dead?
Yes.
Masked man. Who is he?
We thought he'd better not be touched until you could get on the scene.
You showed sense.
So we didn't attempt to get down to where he was. But if I'm not mistaken...
What?
That man's Zeb Crump.
Well, you're crazy, mister. It can't be. That'd mean...
I know, Sheriff. It would mean that he was shot by Charlie Teal.
Well, I'll be...
Settle up, Sheriff. We'll take you there.
This dead-ratted path here. Only way to get down to the bottom of the canyon, but it's almost worse than no path at all.
We're almost there. All right, Tonto.
Yeah, we made it. I thought I was going to bust my neck a dozen times over. Now, which way was it, masked man?
To your right. Come along.
Lead the way. You know where you've seen him.
It isn't far.
Well, thanks for that. But I'm thinking of climbing up again. That's going to be a chore.
We saw him in those rocks you see ahead of us.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that right, Tonto?
That's right.
Here's the place. Circle this boulder here, and we... Sheriff, he's gone.
What? Stranger, you sure this is the place? You sure you ain't made any mistake?
Look for yourself, Sheriff. This is where he fell.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so. Well, even so, mister, you did make a mistake.
Yes?
You said he was done for, but he couldn't have been. How he lived through a fall like that, I don't know, but he done it all right. If he hadn't, he couldn't have got up and walked away.
But, Sheriff, he didn't.
Huh?
I wasn't mistaken. He was killed.
What makes you think that he...
Read the signs, Sheriff. Look at those boot prints.
Well, I'll be switched.
The murderer came back and carried him away.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger drama. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. Now to continue our story. When the Lone Ranger and his companions discovered the dead man had disappeared, they lost no time in starting for the top of the canyon. The difficulty of the ascent made it impossible to talk, but as they neared the rim, they heard a mournful sound. It reached them faintly at first, but gradually became clearer.
You hear that, masked man?
I do.
That dog?
Yeah, funny thing, ain't it? That's Blackie. Old Zeb didn't have a human friend in the world. Mean to animals he was, too. But all that's something a dog just don't take into account. Mean as Zeb was, Blackie's up there mourning him just the same as if he'd been the finest hombre ever wore out saddle leather.
Loyalty is bred in their nature, Sheriff. Perhaps there's a lesson in that for us.
What do you mean?
Maybe we should take more trouble to value men by their good qualities and less to condemn them for their bad.
That's funny talk for a masked man.
And there's nothing to do with the problem we're up against right now. I'd suggest that just as soon as we reach the top... Rifle shots.
Get down, Doc.
No, keep climbing. Those shots are being fired at us. We'll be safer up above. Come on. Climb as fast as you can.
I almost slipped.
You climb, me help.
Give me your hand, Tonto.
We haven't much farther. Keep going.
We're with you.
Here we are. Make it.
I'm all right. Up with you, Tonto. Now then, where's that hombre, huh? Where's he gone to?
It's impossible to tell.
If I could just get my hands on that skunk...
But I'm afraid you won't.
But why?
There's no way of telling just where those shots came from. Could have been anywhere over in there. That section's too broken up.
We could spend days looking for sign of that gunman and still not find him.
The dirty Greg Ulcher. He was picking on that. Oh, going, masked man, I just can't savvy this.
No?
I can see how Zeb might have pestered Charlie. He just couldn't stand it no longer. But why would Charlie shoot at us? Him and me was good friends.
When a man's life is at stake, he might do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose that's so. But still,
Yes?
Oh, I'd rather explain it by saying Charlie'd gone clean loco. Didn't know what he was doing. Because the Charlie Teal I knew wouldn't have harmed a fly.
You're going back to town?
Uh-huh. I'll have plenty to do.
You'd better send deputies to both ranches to be sure their owners are missing.
Yeah. And send out wanted notices for Charlie. Well, come on, masked man. Let's get back to the horses.
Tonto, what's the matter?
Huh? What's that? Was something wrong, Tonto?
Me not know.
He's uneasy about something, Sheriff. We've traveled together for so long, I can recognize the signs without Tonto speaking.
Me watch. Back trail.
Why, Kemosabe?
Think maybe follow.
Following us?
Do you suspect someone's following Tonto, or do you know he is?
Me not know.
Oh?
Tonto watch.
Keep watch, Tonto. But if we are being followed, try to do it without giving yourself away.
I suppose that hombre figured if he kept on our trail, he'd get another chance to finish what he tried to start back at the canyon.
It's possible. But it seems to me... Hold on. Stop. Silver.
What's the matter?
Sheriff, those shots fired back at the canyon weren't fired at us.
Huh?
I'm certain of it. I should have known at the time.
My gosh.
Think, Sheriff. Where were we when we heard those shots?
Well, we was climbing that path.
And we're still almost 50 feet from the top.
Sure.
Those shots didn't come from anywhere near the edge of the canyon. Oh, we could have located them.
What are you getting at?
Those shots came from a point at least 300 or 400 yards back from the canyon.
That's right.
Well, in that case, Sheriff, how could the man who fired them have been able to see us in order to aim?
Well, I'll be... Masked man, that never occurred to me at all.
No, to me, Sheriff, until just now.
You're right.
But if he wasn't shooting at us, then who...
Then he had another object. I think we can be sure that anyone wandering around in that district wasn't amusing himself in target practice.
Don't talk foolish.
Outside of target practice, you don't fire at an object that isn't alive.
Well, what?
But what other living object was around back there except ourselves?
The dog.
Correct.
If that ain't crazy.
Crazy, Sheriff? Don't be too sure. There might have been an excellent motive if we could just see what happened through the eyes of that fellow with a rifle.
But a dog. Shooting at a dog that wouldn't harm nobody, wasn't bothering nobody. Well, if you can make anything out of that, masked man, then you got me licked to a frazzle.
I can see just one explanation.
Well, let's hear it.
No.
What you just
For
said...
the present, it sounds too incredible. Sheriff, when you reach town, it'll be dusk.
Mm-hmm.
We'll ride part of the way with you. When we leave, we'll cut over to that small patch of woods this side of the ridge.
What have you got in mind?
You'll go on to town as if nothing had happened out of the ordinary. And when you get there, do the things that would have been expected of you. Send deputies to both ranches. Get word around that Charlie Teal is wanted for murder. But at the first opportunity... slip away from your office without being seen. Ride just as fast as you can for the ridge. We'll be waiting for you.
And then what?
And then, Sheriff, we'll learn why a murderer wanted to kill a dog. All right, let's go.
Get up.
Get up, Silver.
Get him up, Stone.
Come on, fellow. Come on. Almost 9, Tonto. Sheriff should have been here. If he doesn't arrive within a few minutes, we'll have to go on without him. Wait.
That horse?
Maybe him now. Sheriff?
That's you, masked man?
Right.
Whoa there, fellow. Whoa.
You're late?
Yeah, I had one dickens of a time getting away. When folks heard about Zeb being killed and Charlie turning killer, I thought they'd go crazy. There's so many questions I just about had to take my guns to him to get him out of the office. Well, now where are we going?
Back to the canyon. I'm banking on 2 things.
Yeah?
One, that the dog will continue his vigil at the point where his master met death.
Oh, he'll likely be there, all right.
And 2, that Tonto was correct, that someone was following us this afternoon.
What's that got to do with it?
If he was, he must have been the fellow who fired at the dog.
Mm-hmm.
And if he followed you to town, then he hasn't had time to return.
Return where?
To the canyon.
Well, why would he do that?
To make another attempt on that dog's life.
You're way ahead of me, masked man.
And let's hope the killer isn't way ahead of us.
You want to see justice done, Sheriff? Ride like you've never ridden before. Come on, Silver.
Get him up, Scout.
Get up.
Hi-yo, Silver. Away!
If you must speak, speak softly. There's no use advertising our presence.
You're the boss. That's that dog.
Yes. We leave the horses here where they'll be out of sight. They'll stand.
Mm-hmm.
Come along. Keep to the shadows.
We go this way.
You take the lead, Tonto.
Just where we headed now.
We want to find a place of concealment as close to the dog as possible. When that fella comes back, he'll have to get close himself in order to get good aim at night.
Yeah.
And then...
We grab him?
Right.
Yeah, good place.
By these rocks? Very well. Get down, Sheriff. We can do nothing now but wait.
Massman.
Yes?
What time is it?
Almost midnight.
2 hours. We've been here 2 hours. You honestly think that hombre's going to show up?
I know he will.
How can you be so all-fired certain?
The dog's still alive. If he had to kill him before, the necessity must still be just as great.
Then why didn't he rush right back here and get it over with?
He's possibly playing it safe.
Yeah?
I've got an idea that, just like us, he's somewhere close. But remember, if he's captured, it means his death. He's going to take every precaution to make sure he won't be interrupted again, as he was this afternoon.
Mm-hmm. Likely so.
Be patient, Sheriff. It'll be worth it.
Oh, I'm trying to. But you know, Massman,
What's wrong?
I kind of wish I hadn't come with you.
Yes? Why?
Oh, I don't know.
I think I understand. It's the thought of arresting a man who's been your friend, having to hang him afterwards.
You hit it, Massman. If I'd ever known someday I was going to have a job like this to do, I'd never run for sheriff.
The lawman doesn't have an easy time of it.
Poor Charlie. Sure must have gone clean out of his head.
You won't.
You look.
What's up?
Hush now. What is it?
Look, there.
A shadow, Sheriff.
Yeah, and by Tonka, that shadow's moving.
We get him.
Wait.
But listen,
Watch, Sheriff. If he continues on that course, he'll come directly between us and the dog.
Yeah.
That'll be the time for us to strike.
I guess you're right.
Now silence until I give the word.
He stopped, Massman. He's lifting something. He's aiming.
Come on. Get that man.
Stand right where you are, Charlie, or I'll have to let you have it.
Got that gun. Don't move.
Get back, Ron shooting.
Got that gun, I said.
That rat shooting.
All right, take it.
You hit gun.
Charlie, I'm arresting you in the name of the law. Stand up and... Maskman.
Well?
This ain't Charlie. It's Zeb. Well, Maskman, you've done a job to be proud of. This polecat I got handcuffed to the saddle here is going to hang. But you've kept everything so all-fired secret.
Sheriff, Zeb gave himself away when he fired at the dog. And yet, if possible, the dog had to be killed.
I don't savvy.
It's clear enough. The murderer wanted the dog out of the way. It had to be for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
There was just one thing the killer was worrying about then. Discovery and capture.
Sure, I'll grant that.
Zeb owned a black dog. We knew either Zeb or Charlie had been killed. Naturally, when we saw a black dog mourning the death of its master, we assumed that Zeb had been the victim and Charlie the murderer.
That's right.
But in that case, how could Zeb's dog give Charlie away? Charlie was already known to be the killer. The dog's death would have gained him nothing.
That's where I was puzzled.
Only one possibility remained. If Charlie had nothing to gain by the dog's death, then Zeb did.
But I still...
And if Zeb had something to gain, then he was still alive, and Charlie had died.
But the black dog...
Wasn't black. His coat had been dyed. You'll learn I'm right.
Well, doggone.
It was a perfect plot. You had sent out a description of Charlie as the murderer, not Zeb. Zeb, once he was out of the territory where he was known, would have been perfectly safe. But first, before he left...
He had to get rid of the dog so I would never find out the trick he played.
That's the answer, Sheriff. Yep. Well, there's your prisoner. And someday we may meet again. Come, Tonto.
Hey, wait a minute.
Get him up, Scout.
Hold on there. I want to... Cleared out. Well, Zeb, you ain't leaving. Hang on to the saddle. You're headed for the calaboose. Get up. Get up there, boy. Come on, boy. Get up.
The story you have just heard is a copyrighted feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated.
Hunt the biggest of all game with the Green Hornet and Cato coming up next.
The Green Hornet. He hunts the biggest of all game, public enemies who try to destroy our America. With his faithful valet Cato, Britt Reed, daring young publisher, matches wits with the underworld, risking his life that criminals and racketeers within the law may feel its weight by the sting of the Green Hornet. Ride with Britt Reed in the thrilling story, Underwater Adventure. The Green Hornet strikes again. Scan the front pages of your city newspapers, and you'll note story after story of accidents happening to people on the streets, highways, and right in their own homes. A woman is struck by a bus as she crosses an intersection on the wrong light. A man dies of carbon monoxide fumes due to faulty exhaustive system in his car. A child is burned to death because of carelessly placed matches. There's an old adage that starts, "It's never too late." But it doesn't apply to accidents. Once one has happened, the consequences must be taken. And you might be the unlucky person who will have to take them next. But accidents can be stopped. Play safe. Play the rules of safety at home, at work, and in traffic. And now, the Green Hornet. The bright moonlight was reflected in the smooth waters of the bay, and also in the gleaming black finish of the long, sleek car which sped along the shore road. It was in the small hours of the morning when traffic was negligible, and the powerful car had nothing to impede its progress as it moved like a speeding shadow on the broad, ribbon-like highway. Behind the wheel was a sinister and startling figure, for the Green Hornet was once again on a mission in his super-powered Black Beauty. The masked figure spoke to the man beside him.
Cato, that salvage scow ought to be around the next bend of the shoreline.
Well, how do you know they not leave watchmen to guard diving equipment, Mr. Britt?
They probably have left someone to guard it. But he won't be looking for a visit from the Green Hornet. And so far as they know, everybody believes they're a legitimate salvage company.
Well, how we get out to Scow?
There's one of those small rubber rafts back in the luggage compartment with a small cylinder of gas to inflate it.
Oh, I not know you put it there.
We'll paddle out and board the scow. Then hope for the best. So there it is now. We'll swing off the road and drive toward the shore. Then the fun will begin. Lucky we had moonlight bright enough so that we didn't have to use our lights.
Yes, sir, that's good. The guard must see car moving toward shore.
Come on, Cato. We'll get the raft out of the luggage compartment. Remember, voices and sounds carry over the water, so go easy.
Yes, sir. I'll be careful.
Carry it near the water, then open the valve.
It's not very heavy.
There. Now turn on the valve.
Yes, sir. It's full of smoke.
Yeah, it's quite an adventure. All right, let's get it in the water. It's ready. A small paddle stuck in the side there. Oh, wait a second. I smear some mud on your face in case we run into trouble.
All right. Now, hope we get to Scow before anyone see us. It's not good if bullets hit rubber raft, maybe.
We'll worry about that when it happens. Okay, let's start paddling. I'm outside now. I don't see anyone.
Did we climb onto Scow now?
Yes. Now, come on.
Do you see anyone?
Not yet. Give me your hand.
It looks like everything quiet.
Take no chances. Come on. Look inside that small cabin.
Is your gas gun ready?
Yes. I'll probably have to use it. The door's partly open.
Guard lying on bunk.
Right here. Hey, who's that? Too bad you woke up, fella. If I reach my gun, but you won't reach it. Take this. Yes. Help me put him back on the bunk.
It looks like he always pushing on Scow.
Yes. There. You'll enjoy a good sleep for a few hours. Now, let's get to work. Come on. The diving equipment must be under that tarpaulin.
What you plan to do? Destroy equipment?
Are you kidding? I'm going to put on the diving suit and go down while you pump the air for me.
Well, that's dangerous.
So what? Come on, help me get the cover off. Yes, it's all here.
But I don't understand, Mr. Britt. Why you want to go down into water in diving suit? You not tell me why we come here.
While you're helping me into this diving suit, Cato, I'll tell you why we came here. A little over a week ago, we had a press release from City Hall saying the city was contracting to have the bottom of the bay and the coves out this way inspected for debris resulting from the war, such as wreckage, sunken mines, and so forth. Well, this afternoon, I was in my office when Mike Axford came in and mentioned the fact that the work had begun.
And we were driving along the shore road, out along the bay, when we saw one of them boats they do deep-sea diving from. Of course, it didn't look like much of an outfit to me. The one that's doing the work, that is.
Well, what do you mean? The salvage company mentioned by the city in that release is one of the best, with up-to-date equipment.
The dirty-looking old scow they're using up there in that cove looks like a good blow would put it under. But I guess they know their business.
Just where are they working?
Well, now, let's see. Oh, yeah. Remember that darn hole-up about a year ago when Spike Gorlitz and two others used tear gas bombs to snatch a strong box containing about $250,000 in cash?
Yes, I remember that. They grabbed it as it was being taken from the truck into the bank.
Sure, that's the job I mean. Well, Spike and the others were trailed to a cove up the bay. The car they'd used was there on the shore, and they'd set out in the motorboat.
Oh, yes. Well, they were caught, weren't they, after running a battle with the police force?
Yep, except that Spike was said to have been shot as he dived into the bay to make a getaway. The cops looked for his body but couldn't find it, and they never did get the strong box full of dough either. Both the other thugs went to the chair for killing one of the guards in that hold-up.
Yes, I recall the whole case now. So it's in that cove that the salvage company is working, eh?
That's right. Funny thing, too. Just yesterday, I ran into the head of the city council, Mr. Burbank, and I asked him when they were going to get started on that work. I guess he gave me a bum steer on purpose.
What do you mean, bum steer?
Well, he glared at me. Then says the contract called for starting to work in a month, and the city was lucky to get him at it even that soon. He said us newspaper guys are always wanting them to rush things and do the impossible. Then later that day, I saw that the work had been started. That was yesterday. So I figured Burbank gave me a bum steer on purpose.
Yes, maybe you did at that.
Yes, I'll run along to Cobb's headquarters. I'll be getting in touch with you later, Reed.
After Axford left, I began putting two and two together, Keith. I checked with the city hall and found the work has not begun. So I decided this outfit's a phony, and probably here hunting for that strongbox.
Oh, so that it. Green Hornet come here to find out if strongbox on bottom of bay and cold.
Yes. There. Now you can help me with the headgear. It's up to you to keep the pump going so I'll have air. I hope their intercommunication system works so I can talk to you from below.
Oh, it looks like it in good condition. Well, now I put headpiece on suit. Then you'll be ready to submerge.
Working with careful haste, Cato and Britt adjusted the heavy headgear. Then, as Britt Reed slid over the side and sank into the water, Cato manned the pump. By means of earphones and mouthpiece similar to those worn by telephone operators, Cato was in speaking contact with Britt.
You all right, Mr. Britt?
So far, everything's okay. I'm using the underwater light, but haven't rushed bottom yet.
Mr. Britt! Mr. Britt!
What's the matter?
Somebody leading Shore's Cove in motorboat.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir. I hear boat plainly. What we do? There's not much time. We must do something.
While still operating the air pump, Cato reached over and pushed a lever which started an electric winch. Then he watched hopefully as the taut line gradually began to pull Britt Reed to the top. Meanwhile, in the approaching motorboat, two rough-looking men strained their eyes toward the moonlit deck of the scow.
You see anyone, Spike?
Yeah. Looks like someone near the pump. Cut the motor off a second so we can tell if the pump's still working.
Okay.
You hear it, Bill?
Yeah, still going.
Good. That means whoever's snooping around there is still below. We get there before he gets topside.
Sure. The guy at that pump won't dare stop pumping unless he wants his pal to die.
Start the motor up again.
Right.
We came up to the scow on the off side. And if the lug at the pump decides to take a shot at it, he won't have a chance.
You want me to, Spike? I'll pick him off with a bullet when we get a little closer. That is close enough for me to spot him.
Yeah, why bother? We get him anyway. Can't leave the pump like you said a minute ago.
We're getting there, Spike, and the pump's still going.
Well, slow down before we ram into the scow.
I'm heading to where that rope hangs over the side, Spike. I got the motor off, you grab it.
Yeah. Better cut it off now. Got the rope. Now, come on, we'll go for it. Have your rod handy.
Okay, I'm ready. You go ahead.
All right. Come on, Bill.
Let's tie this line.
All right, coming. Yeah. Now, listen. Pump's still going. That means whoever went down to snoop is still underwater in the diver's suit.
Yeah. The other guy must know we're here, but he can't do nothing.
Yeah, let's go forward and get things settled. Come on. All right, you. You can stop pumping now.
No. If I stop, he'll not get into diver suit.
Now, ain't that too bad, Spike?
If he stops, his pen won't get any air.
Oh, wait a minute. Go on. Keep on pumping. I got another idea.
You must have heard us coming. How come you didn't start the winch going? Try to get your pen out of the water.
Yeah, never mind that, Bill. Dirty face don't look too bright anyway. Maybe that's why.
What you do now?
Well, before I answer that question, I want to ask you one.
Ah, come on, Spike. We're wasting time. Let's get this over with.
Yeah, wait a minute, Bill. All right, you. Now tell me. Who went down in that damn diving suit and why'd you do it?
It's better I not tell you.
Well,
listen to
Look, you'll tell me all right. If you don't, I'll just make you stop pumping and leave your friend where he is.
If I tell you, then you help get him up, perhaps?
Sure, we'll help you get him up, won't we, Bill?
That's right. If you say we will, Spike, then he can count on it.
Then I tell you, men who go down in diving suits, he is Green Hornet.
Hey, what's that you said?
It's the Green Hornet. Well, what do you know? This is...
Now, look, Spike, we can't help him bring that Green Hornet up. He's too slick. Why not just let him stay below and make this guy stop pumping air to him?
No, you not do that.
Don't worry. You keep on pumping. But, Spike...
Don't worry, Bill. Something won't do any good in a minute. What'd you do with knife?
Yes, Spike, what are you going to do?
Yes, this. No, he not cut airline.
Oh, yeah?
Watch.
That did it. Even the Green Hornet couldn't save himself now.
We'll continue our Green Hornet adventure in just a moment. Whenever the subject of international control of atomic energy comes up, are you inclined to think, I'm not a scientist or a statesman, so why should I worry about it? Well, actually, atomic power born during war years is your baby, too. Yours and every American's. And whether or not that baby grows up to be a menace depends on you. Remember, it will be the combined voices of all Americans through our representatives in Congress that will determine our policy before the United Nations Atomic Energy Commission. When the time comes for us to ratify a method of atomic control, be sure you know the facts. Keep well informed on our government's proposals for atomic control. And now, back to the Green Hornet. Spike, Bill, and Cato stood watching the bubbles appear on the surface of the water where the severed air hose had sunk. Then Spike turned to Cato and spoke.
You sneaking rat, we settled with you. Your pal, the Green Hornet, won't ever show up again to help you out.
I don't know about that, Spike.
Hey, what the...
Don't move, you're both covered.
Holy mackerel, Spike, it's the Hornet. What, it can't be. That mug said the Hornet was in the diving suit. That's a trick. The guy lied to us.
No, he didn't lie to you. You asked him who'd gone down in the diving suit. He told you the truth when he said the Green Hornet had.
And how'd you get here?
My friend heard you putting out from shore. By fast work, I managed to get up on deck and out of the suit. Then we sent the empty suit down again, and he continued to pump air to fool you. Which gave me a chance to get the drop on you.
Yes. And now diving suit not be of use to you any longer.
Well, I'll pay.
What do you intend to do now, Hornet?
Look, Rollins, the police think you're dead. As I see it, you've escaped. And knowing the hiding place of the stolen bank money, you came here to find it.
So what? The cops did plug me with a bullet, went over the side in that fight. But it wasn't serious. And I'm a darn good swimmer, see? I swam underwater as far enough away. Then I managed to get ashore. If you think I'm going to let you spoil everything without putting up a fight now, you're...
Maybe I don't intend to spoil things for you, Spike.
What do you mean?
I know there's a fortune below. If you'd found it, you wouldn't still be here, right?
Go on.
Let's work together. There's enough for all of us down here.
Now, take it easy, Spike. Don't trust this mug.
I just stood by and watched you as you thought you were taking my life. Now I'm in a position to take yours. I'm giving you a chance, if you want to take it.
All right, Hornet. We'll play along.
Good.
What are we going to use for a diving suit, Spike? The only one we had's at the bottom of the bay now. Tell you what, Hornet. If you want a share of what's down there, it's up to you to get another diving suit.
Well, that isn't going to be easy.
For the Green Hornet, it ought to be. You can grab one from the warehouse, the A Salvage Company, at the foot of 3rd Street in town. They keep them stored in the room at the back, facing the water.
Okay, I'll make a try for one. Then we'll meet you here tomorrow night, on this scow.
It's a deal. Now, come on. I'll take you over to shore in the motorboat. But be sure you get that diving suit, or we'll all be out of luck. Now, let's get going.
Later, Britt and Cato were back in their apartment, talking over the events of the evening.
Mr. Britt, you really mean to go through with the deal you make with Spike Gornick?
Right up to a certain point, Cato. Gorlitz is the only one who can readily locate that strong box. What I want to do is to make sure he does locate it. Then act.
But they killers. There'll be 3 of them. Do not forget men we put out with a gas gun.
No, I haven't forgotten. But I'll be ready for any trouble.
You plan to steal a diving suit?
Yes. And that'll be where the trail will start for the police to follow.
But if we go on scout, too, and police come, there's danger that they trap Hornet along with Gorlitz and Pal.
I'll have to take that chance. We'll go out tomorrow night and hope for the best.
The following evening, Britt and Cato were ready to carry out their plan.
We go directly to warehouse from here, Mr. Britt?
Yes. Then after we get the suit, if we do get it, we'll give the police our trail to follow out to the scout. It must be done so it doesn't look like a double cross. Otherwise, Spike will get suspicious and refuse to go down in the suit. Come on, let's get started.
Stepping through a secret panel in the rear of a closet in the bedroom, Britt Reed and Cato went along a narrow passageway built within the walls of the apartment itself. This passage led to an adjoining building, which fronted on a dark side street. Though supposedly abandoned, this building served as a hiding place for the sleek, superpowered Black Beauty, streamlined car of the Green Hornet. Britt Reed pressed a button. The great car roared into life. A section of the wall in front raised automatically, then closed as the gleaming Black Beauty sped into the darkness. Arriving at the waterfront, Britt found the back part of the warehouse deserted. Taking Cato with him, he found it a fairly simple matter by means of certain small instruments he always carried, which would open any door or window to effect an entrance. Taking one of the diving suits, he and Cato made their way back to the Black Beauty, parked in the shadows alongside the warehouse.
Here we are, Cato. Open the luggage compartment.
Yes, sir. It open.
All right. We'll drive out along the bay to the cove where Spike is to meet us for the boat. And on the road, just this side of the cove, I noticed a gas station. You can phone the police from there. That will give us time to get Spike down on the diving suit.
Good, nobody see us coming. That warehouse guard.
Get going, Cato. Since that guard saw us leaving, it may interfere with our plans, Cato.
How you mean?
The police will be on the lookout now, and it may not give us time to get to the scow as we planned. Especially if they spot us and follow.
Well, that not be good. Spike and friends find out police follow, they leave in hurry.
Yes, and that's what I don't want. Spike is an escaped killer. I want the police to get him.
We hope police not get on trail of Hornet too soon, then.
Yes. Well, so far, we've been lucky. Step on it. We'll soon be on the shore road.
Meantime, a patrol car waited at a crossroad.
Well, Ashford, we're on the hunt for that spalpeen the Hornet again. That warehouse guard said he was headed this way.
Say, Sarge, wonder why the Hornet would want to steal a diving suit. That's a new one on me.
No telling, Mike. That guy's liable to steal anything, to my way of thinking. But you can bet your bottom dollar he had a good reason for doing it, and a reason that spells trouble for the police force.
Lucky we were out this way in that other car when he heard that radio warning. Maybe we're in time to hit him off.
That's what I'm hoping to do.
Here comes a car heading for the shore road. Sure moving fast, Sarge.
Yeah, but if it's just another speedster, he's in luck. Because we ain't going to waste time following him.
Hey, look at him come.
Yeah, have a good mind.
Holy crow, that's him. That's the Hornet.
So it is. Get going, Cassidy. Step on it and don't let him out of your sight.
Look like police car waiting at crossroads, Mr. Britt.
You're right, Cato, and they're following us. If Spike hears that siren, he'll skip and we'll never find him. Slide over here and let me take the wheel.
Oh, yes, sir.
Be careful. Easy now.
What you plan to do?
I'll turn inland at the next road and try to lose him. There's a road just up ahead.
Will you use smoke screen, perhaps?
Not yet. I want the police to get far enough away from the shore road so they won't spoil things. Then we'll use the smoke screen. Here's the turn.
Driving far inland, Britt led the police away from the shore road. Then, using the smoke screen on the Black Beauty, he managed to get a good lead on them. Still at high speed, he doubled around until he had again reached the shore road. Within a short time, he reached the cove where they were to meet Spike Gorlitz.
I'll have to move fast. I want to get the diving suit into Spike's boat before the police show up. They're bound to come this way soon. Come on.
Well, here come Spike and friend.
Well, Hornet, you get what you went after?
Of course. It's in the back of the car. Oh, there it is. Better than the one you had, too.
Help me with this belt. Sure. We'll carry it to the motorboat. Come on, Hornet. Here we are. Laid into the boat, Bill. Right. Okay, Hornet. You and your helper can get in now.
Hey, listen, the cops.
Hey, they must have followed the Green Hornet.
We better scram and fast.
Yeah, come on.
Wait a minute, Spike. You're not going anyplace.
Hey, look, the guy's got a gun. He must be nuts.
Hey, what's the idea? The cops are after you, too? I'm taking that chance.
All right, watch him, Bill.
I expected this.
I'll get this, Mike. I think not. Oh, knock Bill out. Let's slam, Hornet. I'll make a deal with you. Come on.
Take this, killer.
No. Really quick, or they find Black Beauty.
Come on, hurry.
Come on, Cassidy. There's a motorboat. Yeah. And the moon's bright enough to show two guys laying on the ground. Wait up for me. Come on. Hey, Sarge, behind us. He's leaving. Come on, follow him. We got something here we can lay our hands on. Let's have a look. Suffering snakes. Two guys stretched out cold. Let me put my light on them. Great day. Look there. What are you great daying about? That mug is Spike Gorlitz. Are you sure? I thought he was dead. Well, he ain't. That's him right there. Hey, Sarge. Look here in the motorboat. Well, what do you know? A diving suit. Must be the one the Hornet stole tonight. Wonder what they want that for. For diving, no doubt. Look out there, a salvage scow. I know. Burbank, the city council told me they hadn't started that work yet. But I saw that scow there, so I knew that... Hold on, Ashford. I know the city hasn't started that work yet. There's only one answer. Spike Gorlitz dumped that strong box of money in the bay when they were making their getaway. He's come back to find it. Say, I'll bet you're right at that, Sarge. You're darn tootin' I'm right. We'll get divers to work right away until they get that money. It'll be a feather in the cap for the police, getting back the bank money and catching Spike Gorlitz. That's right, Sarge. I give you credit. Well, maybe we didn't get the Green Hornet, but by chasing him, we got these killers. And a chance to get the dough for the bank. Let's get them back to town. I'll radio Harbor Police to raid that scow in case there's others out there. At least the Green Hornet didn't get his hands on that dough. And wait till he hears we caught his pal. Don't be stupid, Mike. Didn't he leave him here for us by gassing him? He's hard to figure out, that Hornet. But believe you me, he's nobody's fool. You can bet on that.
Police find bank funds and pay. Green Hornet implicated. Read all about it. Green Hornet still at large. That's the last street. Take back.
All through the day, every day of the week, ABC has a continual procession of top-flight programs. For example, there's Breakfast in Hollywood, a show that has become a daily weekday listening habit with millions of Americans. And speaking of daily habits, our Al Pierce show has also been providing fun and laughs for people everywhere. In the evenings, we've got more comedy, plus mystery, adventure, and the musical programs lined up to entertain you. Yes, there's great listening on ABC every day. So try us today and tomorrow by tuning in to your ABC station early and stay tuned late. And listen to the Green Hornet next week at this same time. police were really on their toes in the Green Hornet adventure you have just heard. And to be assured of an efficient police force in any city, it's up to the people to vote for the right officials who are to head their city government. When you vote, make sure of the candidate first. These copyrighted dramas originate in the studios of WXYZ Detroit, and all characters, names, places, and incidents used are fictitious. Al Neal speaking. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company. 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 Company.
Crime doesn't stand a chance against Dick Tracy. Up next.
And now, Dick Tracy!
This is Dick Tracy on the case of the poisonous timber. Stand by for action. Let's go, men.
Yes, it's Dick Tracy, protector of law and order.
Before we listen to today's Dick Tracy adventure, did you boys and girls know that although yesterday was actually Cornelius McGillicuddy's 85th birthday, today is the day he's celebrating? And so is everybody else who loves baseball. Because Cornelius McGillicuddy is none other than Connie Mack, Mr. Baseball himself. You see, when the manager of that famous baseball team, the Philadelphia Athletics, was 75, he discovered that his birthday was really December 22nd. He decided that after celebrating December 23rd for 75 years, it was too late to change. Because of Mack's managerial ability, the A's are always a dangerous team. And no other baseball manager has won as many championships as Connie Mack. As a matter of fact, his teams were so great at times that people just wouldn't go to see them play. They knew the A's would win. And since baseball teams need money, Connie Mack was forced to break up his teams 2 different times. You athletes will want to join in our salute to the man who started life working in a shoe factory at the age of 16 and who is still going strong as the grand old man of baseball, Connie Mack, 85 years young today. And now, Dick Tracy. Finally convinced of the complete innocence of Forrest Green, Dick Tracy and Pat Patton have teamed up with him in an attempt to trap the nefarious Cutter down. Going to the scene of winter logging operations, Tracy extracts some valuable information from an obviously unfriendly lumber foreman. At this moment, however, Pat Patton arrives on the scene and, despite Tracy's shouts of warning, walks directly into the path of a falling tree.
Tree there fell right in them 2 fellas.
Yeah, it sure did. Well, I guess we might as well take them out.
Hey, look. Right there. There's the one you was talking to.
Yeah.
He must have got out of the way.
Yeah, looks like it. Come on. Let's go over and talk to him again.
Hey, sure. Most office ain't ever seen the life. Looks like square right on top of him there.
Hey there. It was kind of close. This must be your lucky day.
Lucky? I couldn't run fast enough to pull Pat out of the way.
You mean you couldn't run fast enough to get killed? You don't know when you're well off.
For heaven's sake, man, will you stop prattling and help me get Pat out of there?
Patience, mister, patience. All right, fellas. Get in there and bring out that body.
You're being a little premature, aren't you?
He's dead, all right. Gotta be. Big tree like that smack on top of him.
You don't know Pat. He's pulled out of more hopeless spots than this.
Yeah? Can't be any more hopeless than dead, mister. And that's what he is.
Hey, here he is. He's still breathing.
There, what did I tell you?
He won't last long. Probably conk out any minute.
Let me look at him. No, doesn't seem to be any bones broken. No, he was bracketed by these 2 limbs here, and he fell right between them. One of those little ones up there must have clipped him right on the head. Hey, help me get him out in the open.
Leave him alone, man. Don't touch him.
Say, what's the idea?
He's dead. Just hasn't got sense enough to stop breathing.
My men aren't going to go carrying any steps around.
All right, then. I'm a special deputy sheriff, and I ask them in the name of the law to help me.
Mister, around these parts, cutter down's the law. What he says goes.
And does he also pass out the instructions for murder?
Friend, I don't like that. In fact, I don't like anything about you.
That's a matter of complete unconcern to me. But if you're looking for a fight, I'd suggest you put that axe down first.
You betcha. The day that I need an axe to kick the stuffings out of the toughest city fellow that ever lived, that's the day I quit the lumber business.
Well, I hope you're well fixed financially because you've just resigned.
Well, you... Oh, fancy Dan, huh? I'll show you. I'll take... Yeah. How do you like this kind of fighting?
It's a funny thing, but dirty fighters are always yellow.
Yeah?
They can't take a hard punch like this. Or this.
Hey, did you see that? Did you see that? A city fella knocked Charles down.
Now, do you still think you can say uncle?
Oh, yeah? I'll show you who's yellow, you dirty goat.
You look better on the ground. Like that. You want to play some more?
All right. All right, don't hit me again. I've had enough.
Just like I said. Now, will you men help me take care of Pat?
Well, we sure will. Hey, come on. Brother, he certainly took care of that loudmouth, Joe. You know something? He's been talking so tough nobody around the camp had enough nerve to choose it.
I think he'll be a little subdued from here on in. Now, let's lift Pat and...
Nobody is lifting Pat. I am quite able to lift myself.
Pat, when did you wake up?
Just a few minutes ago.
Well, why didn't you say something?
I miss a good fight? I'd have never forgiven myself if I hadn't seen that. It sure was a beaut. Richard, you know something? I'm proud of you.
Thanks, Patrick.
Ah, not at all. It was really wonderful, every minute of it. But you know, I warned you before about needing with your right.
What?
That guy'd been a little faster, he'd have nailed you.
Oh, Patrick, go back to sleep. You were funnier that way. Come on. Think you can walk all right?
Sure, why not? As you're so fond of pointing out, it was only my head that was hurt.
Let's go, then.
Right.
And, Joe.
Yeah?
I should have thought your mother would have warned you about playing games with strangers. So long, men. If you see Forest Green, be sure to get in touch with me.
Oh, Richard, I'm surprised at you. That wasn't a nice thing to do.
What?
Well, now those men will spend all their time looking for Forest Green instead of working like little beavers, cutting trees for that nice cutter down.
Well, that's really quite a shame, isn't it?
Certainly.
Hey,
huh?
over here.
Well, bless my soul if it isn't the villainous Forest Green. Say, don't you know there's a price on your head?
Oh, really? Well, if the price is right, I'll sell.
You better hold out a little while longer. I understand all prices are going even higher.
Tracy, before I forget it, that was an elegant fight. Oh, you certainly put the chill on Joe Balsam, the terror of the lumber camps.
The terror of the... If that guy's the terror of the lumber camps, they're certainly easily frightened up here.
Well, it's like that other guy said. I've heard Joe threaten and bully and shout for years, but I can't ever recall seeing him actually fight before.
Well, he certainly picked a bad time for his coming out party.
Oh, he did at that. Now everyone in this part of the country will want to take a crack at him for some of the things he's made them swallow. Oh, but tell me, Dick, what did you find out?
Something pretty important. Cutter Down personally ordered those 2 trees cut, which wasn't very smart of him, because it's reasonably certain that there was something on those trees that he didn't want seen.
Yeah, if you ask me, it was pretty stupid. Would have been better for him to have blamed the marks on Forrest here. But you know what? I guess he got panicky.
Yeah, Cutter's like that. Loses his head when the screws start to tighten. He'd have been cooked long ago if he hadn't had Owen Doe to hold him down in the pinches.
Well, that'll give us a lead then. What we've got to do is just to keep putting the pressure on him and keep him worrying until he breaks and does something really incriminating.
Yeah, I think you're right, Dick. Well, in the meantime, come on, let's go back to Mahogany's. Seems to me she said something about hot coffee when we got back.
Oh, good idea, Pat. Well, wait a minute, Pat. You've still got a vine or something clinging to you.
Word, what do you know? That's the luck of the Irish. Some people would have been killed when that tree fell on them, but I come out of it with vine leaves in my hair.
Yeah, but this vine happens to be poison ivy.
Well, it doesn't make it... poison... Oh, I'm feeling a little faint, fellas. I don't think I'm long for this world.
But you have the luck of the Irish to protect you.
Oh.
So you have nothing to worry about. Nothing at all.
Boy, the days are certainly short. It's pitch black already.
Yeah, and it's snowing again, too. The lights of Mahogany's cabin up ahead are really welcome. I can taste that coffee already.
They're welcome for another reason, too. They'll give me a chance to look in the window first and see if she's alone.
That's a wise precaution.
No, there she is alone, reading. Oh, I wonder where Piney is.
Well, there's one way to find out.
Come in, boys. Come in. Be quick about it.
Where's Piney, Ma?
Well, she got nervous here without you, and so she went out for a little walk. Said she was gone up by the ridge.
Oh, I think I'll go look for her.
Yeah, that's a good idea. There'll be a moon in a few minutes. You better not waste it. You know, I thought that was real cute. So romantic-like.
Yeah, you're still young when you go looking for your girl before you've had a cup of coffee.
Ain't it the truth? But, you know, I was reading about this here Cleopatra. You know, she weren't much younger than me when she got in all that mess with Mark Antony.
No, I guess she wasn't.
And so I guess maybe there's hope for the old girl here yet, huh? Well, all the same, have some coffee, huh?
You talked me into it.
Did you say something?
Who?
I thought one of you fellas said something. Sounds like somebody outside. What could it be? Forrest and Piney back so soon?
It wasn't by the door. It sounded as though it came from this side.
A bear? Could smell it if it was a bear.
You mean to say you could tell if it was a bear outside just by the smell?
Why, sure thing. It smelled kind of hot and heavy. And I'm sure it's no deer. I can smell a deer a mile away if the wind's right. They smell sort of musky-like.
That's no animal. That's a person out there.
Well, what's he doing around the back, then? Here, fetch me my horse pistol, son.
Never mind. I'll do any shooting that's required.
Look, there's something outside that window. I'll shine my light on it.
Good, Pat.
What? It's a man, all right. But what's the matter with him? He looks... Oh, no. No, it can't be.
What's the matter?
It's not possible. It just can't be.
What can it be? Who is it?
It's Axel Tree.
In a moment, we'll return to Dick Tracy. But first, Christmas Eve, we invite you to join us when we present a dramatization of Charles Dickens' famous story, A Christmas Carol, in place of our regular Wednesday night program, Mayor of the Town. And as the star of the show, we'll bring you the mayor himself, Lionel Barrymore, in the role of Scrooge, characterization for which he is well known throughout the country. Scrooge is one of Barrymore's most distinguished portrayals, one known by more people, perhaps, than any other ever heard on the air. This will mark the 12th year Mr. Barrymore has played the role. And speaking of it, he has said, "There's something I feel of Scrooge at the moment I assume his character. I seem to shrink, and an unnatural meanness of disposition comes over me." A Christmas Carol is a story men, women, and children alike enjoy, a story your whole family will want to hear, for it's a story in the traditional Christmas tradition, a tale of a cold man whose heart is gladdened by the Yuletide and who learns the true meaning of giving and generosity. Tomorrow night, listen to Lionel Barrymore as Scrooge in A Christmas Carol on the most of these same ABC stations. Now, back to Dick Tracy.
Who did you say it was?
Axel Tree. But he's dead.
Who or what is the wild-eyed creature standing outside in the snow? Can it be Axel Tree? And if it is, will he be able to shed any light on the insidious operations of Cutter Down? Better be sure to tune in tomorrow for The Adventures of Dick Tracy. Written for radio by John Ray and Everett S. Crosby. And this is George Gunn speaking. The greatest music of the world, superbly interpreted by one of America's finest symphonic orchestras. The Boston Symphony, which we present every Tuesday evening over most ABC stations. As director of these weekly concerts, we bring you Serge Koussevitzky, who has been acclaimed both here and abroad for his fine conducting. In choosing selections for the Boston Symphony programs, Mr. Koussevitzky tries to include, during each season's broadcasts, works by composers from many lands. Thus you hear the most memorable music of England, France, Russia, Czechoslovakia, Italy, Norway, Finland, and America. So be sure to listen to the Boston Symphony tonight on most ABC stations. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
One of old-time radio's longest running and most popular programs, CBS Mystery Theater, is up next.
I'm E.G. Marshall. I've been waiting for you. Welcome to the world of suspense, imagination, a world where nothing is impossible and every... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. I've been waiting for you. Welcome to the world of suspense, imagination, a world where nothing is impossible and everything is foolproof. At least that's what Peter Vincent thought, the hero of our tale. Peter Vincent is approaching middle age. Not quite there, but already beginning to experience the disillusions, the restlessness that comes from feeling we're capable of better things and fearing time will run out before we achieve them. But Peter Vincent, who lives by his wit, his charm, his cunning, hit one day on a scheme that appeared to be his great triumph. Our mystery drama, Dressed to Kill, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Bob Juran and stars Robert Morse. It is sponsored in part by New Sugar-Free Diet 7-Up and Buick Motor Division. I'll be back shortly with Act One.
And now, another story of the ball and chain, as Kellogg's Special K presents The Library.
Welcome to the public library. May I help you, sir?
Yes, I'd like to check out... Famous Laundromats of the World by Audrey Schnorbart.
Sir, excuse me, but isn't that ball and chain you're wearing just like the ones they use in the Kellogg's Special K commercial?
This ball and chain?
Yes, that one. How are you going to get rid of it?
Well, lots of good exercises, and by eating smart at every meal, starting with the Special K breakfast.
Don't you have to watch your calories?
Yes, and the Special K breakfast is less than 240 calories.
Less than 240 calories?
Right. A 1-ounce bowl of high-protein Special K, 4 ounces of skim milk, tomato juice, and coffee. It's really tasty, and it's going to help me get rid of this ball and chain. I'd say it's long overdue, get it?
Your happy ending could begin with the Special K breakfast from Kellogg's.
North Jersey is certainly getting a higher yield this spring, especially with Suburban Savings Special High Yield Savings Certificate that you can raise for fun and profit. All you have to do is plant a modest $2,500 minimum in Suburban's limited issue 7.50% savings certificate. Then put your certificate in a nice safe place. Suburban takes care of the rest by compounding interest continuously from day of deposit paid quarterly. You'll get a nice healthy 7.90% effective annual yield on your 7.50% savings certificate when you let it grow from 4 to 10 years. Early withdrawal prior to maturity is, of course, subject to a substantial penalty. So for a nice healthy 7.90% annual effective yield, grow Suburban's 7.50% savings certificate for fun and profit at any Suburban savings office in Bayonne, Edgewater, Elmwood Park, Emerson, Hackettstown, Martz Plains, Nutley, Paramus, and Sparta.
There is no mystery about the morning when you come rambling with gambling. Good evening, mystery fans. This is John Gambling, and every morning, Monday through Saturday, here at WOR from 5 a.m. till 10, we get the crew together to try to put the morning together for you, to tell you what the weather's going to be like, whether there's heavy traffic coming into the city, whether the subways and the commuter trains are running. Bob Harris is in WOR's Weather Center every morning with all that very complicated equipment that he has to help prognosticate the day's weather. We cover sports completely with Don Cricky. In the news department, Peter Roberts, Henry Gladstone, and Harry Hennessy. And up in the helicopter, George Meade or Fred Feldman, keeping an eye on the traffic scene. So altogether, we do try to take any mystery out of the morning. And just to brighten up the beginning of your day a little bit, I think we have some kind of nice, listenable, and tuneful music. So tune in tomorrow morning or any morning for Rambling with Gambling. Now, back to the mystery. What a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. And Peter Vincent is about to weave a tangled web of deception, the likes of which he has never tried before, and hopes never to have to try again. Our story begins in a cheap but clean and well-run apartment house on New York City's West Side.
Oh, Mr. Vincent,
Yes, Mrs. Gretsch.
it's the 5th of the month.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Gretsch. Do you tell the time, too?
Look, I'll thank you not to be so smart when you're late with the rent. 2 months late at that.
Only 2 months this time. Things are looking up for you.
I got my bills to pay, too, you know. And everything going up.
Everything goes up around here except the heat. I've been meaning to speak to you about that.
There is an energy crisis. I have to conserve all
You'll
the...
have your own crisis if I catch pneumonia and can't work. I shall sue you, Mrs. Gretsch, for depriving me of my livelihood.
I'd like to know just what that is.
You know what I do.
Well, you call yourself an actor. Actors act. You haven't been in a show since you started living here.
Does that make me any the less an actor? We are all acting, Mrs. Gretsch. You, I, everyone. We're playing out our roles on this great stage. We are never really ourselves. We hide behind the masks, and we act out our little lives. I mean, you're acting. You don't want to press me for the rent, but you must. It's your role in life. So you step up on the stage as you are now, the star of this mini-drama, acting the part of the miserable, harassed landlady insisting on the rent. And you do your part extraordinarily well. Have you ever thought of going on the stage?
Well, my sister was always telling me I had a nice voice.
And she's right, she is. I may speak to my agent about you, yeah. I might just be able to get you a part.
But get me the rent instead.
Beautiful, Mrs. Gretsch, that was beautiful. You have a natural sense of timing. You'll make a wonderful heroine someday. You're past the ingenue roles, but still...
You have till the 10th, Mr. Vincent. Not a day after.
That's it, Mrs. Gretsch. Keep studying. Stupid old frump.
Hi, Pete.
Murray. What are you doing here?
Drinking your scotch.
I thought you were in Cleveland.
No, the show folded.
Oh, how'd you get in?
You gave me a key a year ago, remember?
Well, remind me to change the lock. I'm sick of your freeloading, Murray.
Look, just a couple of days till I get settled. I gave up my room when I went on the road.
You're not staying here.
Oh, come on, Pete. I'll pay half the rent.
Well, welcome home, Murray.
You're looking pretty good, Pete. You been eating regularly?
Off and on. I pulled a little flim-flam job a few months ago, paid the back rent.
What about acting? Any leads?
No, but I'm working on something, Murray, something really big. I'm sick of those ratty little deals for peanuts.
Oh, come on, not another con game.
The greatest, Murray. The one that'll set me up for life on that sunny little beach in Mexico. I'm going to pull one last gigantic hoax and then retire. I mean, just settle down for life. I've been thinking about it for months.
Great. What's the scheme?
I'm going to kill myself.
Well, that's one way to... You what?
I'm going to kill myself. But it won't be suicide.
You're going to kill yourself, but it won't be suicide.
That's right, Murray. And my wife will receive $50,000 in insurance.
Now, I know you're nuts.
I'm serious, Murray.
How can you be? You may go ahead and kill yourself, but your wife isn't going to get any $50,000. You're not even married. I'm going to have another martini while I try to focus in on this.
It has to work, Murray. It's foolproof.
Nothing is foolproof.
I've been looking at it from every angle, and the more I look, the more I'm convinced it's going to work. Now, Peter Vincent will die. His wife will disappear forever, and I'll come out of the whole thing with $50,000.
Let me get this straight. You're going to fake your own death and then impersonate your wife to collect the insurance?
Precisely. I've got a $25,000 double indemnity policy. I've had it for years. I got it back in the better days when I was working regularly and traveling a lot. My mother was a beneficiary. But after she died, I just never did anything about changing the policy. I kept it up.
You're not only out of work, you're out of your mind.
No, listen, Murray, when I thought of this thing last year, I went and changed the beneficiary on that policy. I made up a name, Tina Vincent. The beneficiary is Tina Vincent, wife of the deceased. I've just been waiting, letting enough time go by so it looks legitimate.
Well, it's a blockbuster, all right. If you get away with it, there are a lot of things to consider. How are you going to pass for a woman?
The impersonation is the main...
Yeah, that's it. Can you be convincing?
When I put my mind to something, I can be very convincing.
I don't believe it. Where did you learn to talk like that?
I used that voice in a nightclub act a couple of years ago.
Well, it's perfect. It's a perfect dame. Say something else.
It was sweet of you to Invite me to dinner, Murray. Oh, Murray, pay the check and let's just get out of here.
Fantastic. Well, the first thing to do now is create, Tina Vincent. Now, will you help me, Murray? Hey, give me that voice again. That really spooks me, hearing that dame's voice coming out of you.
Well, that's because you haven't seen me at my best, Murray. Wait till I'm dressed for the part.
May I help you, sir?
Oh, yes. I was interested in these pantsuits.
Oh, well, these are on sale today. Is it a gift for your wife, perhaps?
Yes, you might say that. For my wife, yes.
Oh, well, how nice. Oh, what's her size?
A size? Oh, about, like mine.
Like yours? Oh, rather tall, then, huh?
Decidedly.
Oh, let me see. I'd say about an 18 tall. And if it doesn't fit, you can always bring it back.
Fine.
Now, the suits on this rack are all size 18.
I'll take this blue, and how about that black velvet?
That was fast. You certainly know your wife's taste.
Yes, I do, rather.
All right, well, I'll have these boxed and gift wrapped. Will there be anything else, sir?
Yes, as a matter of fact, she's been wanting a new wig.
Oh, yes, sir. Step this way. Next counter down. Now, what does she wear? Blonde, brunette, black?
Oh, dear me, yes. Funny, I've never really noticed.
Oh, well, what's her coloring like? Fair? Dark?
Fair. Like mine, almost.
Oh, uh-huh. Oh, this frosted blonde would be perfect. Yeah. Oh, this one, yeah.
Yes, I think that would do.
Oh, here, just for fun. You try it on, huh?
Oh, come on.
You say her coloring is like yours.
No, please, that's silly.
Oh, here, let me just slip it over your head.
Ow.
Adjust it a little and...
What?
It's incredible, sir.
What's incredible?
Well, I don't know, this wig, I hope you'll forgive me for saying so, but
what?
With that wig on, you could pass for a rather attractive woman.
Really?
Yeah, except for one thing.
And what's that?
Well, your mustache.
Well, Murray, how do I look?
Like a tall Doris Day.
Come on, will you? Come on, what have I forgotten? Now, what is wrong with this whole image?
Nothing. I gotta admit, it's perfect.
Yeah. Have I got on too much makeup?
No, I don't think so. Lots of women go in for heavy makeup.
Well, there's only one sure way to find out. The acid test.
Go out in public.
Precisely. Because I've got to be convincing as a woman before I've gone too far.
Where are you going to start?
Well, first I'm going to open a bank account. I've got to establish some sort of identity for Tina Vincent. Just impersonating a woman isn't good enough, because when I get down to the final act, applying for the insurance, I've got to prove that I really am Tina Vincent. I've got to have identification.
You sure have thought this thing out, Pete.
I've been planning it for almost a year. Well, I'm going to start with the bank. Lend me $50, will you? No, I promise you'll get it back in spades when this whole thing's over.
Yeah, when you're in Mexico, you mean.
Come on, Murray. Be a patron of the arts, huh? Where's your imagination? Now, come on. Don't let a little thing like a few bucks keep us from carrying out one of the greatest schemes of all times.
No wonder you don't have to work. Okay. Here.
You won't regret it. You want to come along and watch the fun?
I wouldn't miss it for the world. I paid $50 for that reserved seat. Stage fright?
No. At this point, I have nothing to lose. Let's call it a first read-through.
Okay, give me that Tina voice again. You got to get in character.
Good afternoon. I'd like to open a savings account.
Perfect.
Is the wig straight?
Yeah. Everything looks fine to me.
Okay, Murray. All right. All right, here I go. I beg your pardon?
Good afternoon, madam. May I help you?
Yes, I'd like to open a savings account.
Certainly. Sit down, please. Will this be an individual or joint account?
An individual. I'm starting to save a little for a surprise vacation for my husband in Mexico.
Well, that's very nice, very nice. May I have your name, Mrs.
Vincent. Tina Vincent.
All right, Mrs. Vincent, if you'll fill out both these cards. Name, address, Social Security number.
Social Security number?
I beg your pardon?
Oh. A little catch in the throat. No, a Social Security number. No, I don't have one. I mean, my card must be at home. I haven't worked for so many years.
I see. Well, you can always send that in to us later.
Oh, thank heavens.
How much would you like to deposit?
Well, $50.
Very well, Mrs. Vincent.
You should have seen his face when I dropped back to my own voice for that horrible second.
Did he realize?
I don't think so. He was startled, but I carried it off. I have to do better than that, though, when I face an insurance company. I've got to be totally convincing.
Well, you just need more practice.
You're right, Murray. I've got to try and live an entire week as Tina Vincent. Everywhere I go, everything I do will be Tina Vincent.
Yeah, but I got my doubts, a lot of big doubts.
Why?
Well, maybe you can talk like a woman and dress up like one for a while. But I don't think you can keep up the pose. Sustain it, I mean.
That's what I want to find out, and I've got a great idea. This will be the test to end all tests. If I can fool that hawk-eyed superintendent, Mrs. Gretsch, the toughest insurance man will be a pushover.
Yeah, how are you going to do that?
Another brilliant piece of business, Murray. I just hope I can keep from laughing in her face, because I've got to fool her in order to live here this week as Tina Vincent. In fact, she doesn't know it, but she's going to be an unwitting supporting player in our little drama. And I do mean supporting, particularly if there should be an insurance investigation later.
Yeah, and that's a very likely possibility. I've been wondering how you plan to stage your own death.
That's Act 2, Murray. Now, let's establish the bereaved beneficiary first.
But there's got to be a body.
Yes, it is customary.
Insurance companies don't pay out until they're sure the policyholder is dead.
That's right, Murray.
Then, as I see it, if you're going to get away with this thing, you've got to get away with murder.
Indeed. Get away with murder. And get away with being a convincing Mrs. Tina Vincent. In order to get away with $50,000. A tall order for even the best actor or female impersonator. Particularly when someone else is in on the whole scheme. But first things first. Let's see how well Peter Vincent makes out spending a week as Mrs. Vincent when we return shortly with Act 2.
It's safe to assume that some of you are listening to my voice from the inside of the wrong car. Not the wrong make, the wrong size. It's especially important these days that the cars we drive fit the way we use them. Now look around. If you've got more room than you've got passengers, maybe a smaller car would be better. If you've got wall-to-wall people, maybe the car is not big enough for the way you use it. And if you've taken the big car and left the small one for your wife to use for her carpools and shopping and Cub Scouts and whatever, well, we've got a message for you. If she hasn't given it to you already, make sure your car fits your lifestyle. Sometimes small is right. Sometimes big is right. Buick makes both right. From Opel to Electra 225, Buick has a car for the way you drive.
Hey, Mom, what's for dinner? Hey, Mom, what you got?
ShopRite's answer to what's for dinner this week is first cut choice grade beef chuck steaks, just 59 cents a pound. Shoulder steak, just $1.49 a pound. Nutritious young beef liver, 69 cents a pound. Fresh sweet corn, 10 ears for 99 cents. And price-conscious shoppers can save with Alba instant powdered milk. An 8-quart box is just $1.79 at ShopRite. That's well under 25 cents a quart. For more what's for dinner ideas, visit your nearest ShopRite and save.
She loves her family. She wants the best. She does all that she can do. She lets ShopRite do the rest. Hey, Ma, what's for dinner? ShopRite has the answer.
This is WOR New York, an RKO General Station, your station for Mystery Theater.
Peter Vincent, con artist, sometime actor, is preparing what he considers the greatest scheme of his career. Impersonating his own beneficiary, Mrs. Tina Vincent, to collect his own insurance. But first, he must prove to others and to himself he can carry out the impersonation. So, for the next few days, Peter Vincent will disappear, and Mrs. Tina Vincent will take over.
Who is it?
I'd like to see the superintendent.
What do you want?
I'm looking for a man named Peter Vincent. I was told he lives in this building.
Well, his name's on the mailbox, 2A. But I don't think he's in. I haven't seen him since yesterday.
Well, would you be kind enough then to let me into his apartment?
Oh, certainly not. I don't know you.
I'm Mrs. Vincent, his wife.
His wife? Hey, I didn't know he was married. He's lived here 2 years.
We're separated, but I'm still Mrs. Vincent.
Oh, glory be. What next from that man?
I know Mr. Vincent wouldn't mind your letting me in. He doesn't know I'm in town. I want to surprise him.
I'm afraid not, Mrs. How do I know he'd be glad to see you? Look, if he wants you in his apartment, he'll be the one to let you in.
Well, of all...
Well, how'd it go? Smooth, Murray, smooth. The old crow didn't bat an eyelash. To her, I'm a perfect stranger. If he wants you in his apartment, he'll be the one to let you in. That's just what she said. Come on. We have to arrange for my wife's lodging.
Where now?
That phone booth there. Hey, lend me a dime, Murray. I've got to make a call.
I'll put it on your bill.
Consider it an investment. I told you, you'll share in the spoils.
I hope you know what you're doing, because I sure don't.
Another scene in our little drama, Murray.
Hello?
Hello, Mrs. Gretsch. This is Peter Vincent.
Oh, Mr. Vincent, where are you?
I'm out of town, Mrs. Gretsch. I had an unexpected chance for a part, and I won't be back for at least a week. Would you keep an eye on my apartment for me?
I've done that already. There was a woman here not 5 minutes ago and said she was your wife.
Tina? Tina was there?
Oh, that's what she called herself. Is she really your wife, Mr. Vincent?
Yes, we're separated. I haven't seen Tina for years.
Oh, well, she wanted me to let her into your apartment to surprise you, but I wouldn't do it.
Oh, Mrs. Gretsch, I wish you had.
What? You mean it's all right?
Well, you wouldn't have had any way of knowing. Tina and I are the best of friends, Mrs. Gretsch. Look, if she should come back, if you see her again by any chance, please, let her in. In fact, she can stay there until I get back. Let her use my apartment, if she likes.
Well, all right, if you say so, Mr. Vincent. I hope you have a good run.
A what?
Oh, just a little show talk I picked up. You did say you're in play.
Oh, yes. Oh, it's going to be a very good run, Mrs. Gretsch. In fact, it seems to be going beautifully.
Oh, just a minute, sir.
Yes?
I know you've been staying with Mr. Vincent, but now things have changed. He's out of town.
Yeah, I know.
And Mrs. Vincent is occupying the apartment.
Tina? You mean Tina's here?
And with Mr. Vincent away, I don't think...
Oh, don't worry, Mrs. Gretsch. You didn't know. I'm Peter Vincent's brother-in-law.
What?
Yeah, Mrs. Vincent's my sister.
Oh, well, I hope she's not here to make trouble. Mr. Vincent said they were separated.
Oh, don't worry. It's probably a reconciliation. They've always admired each other, even though they couldn't live together.
I certainly hope so.
Stupid old biddy. Tina, it's Murray.
Murray, surprise!
When did you get into town?
Just today. Come in. Oh, good show, brother dear.
You know, I'm beginning to enjoy this part.
Yes, keep you in practice.
And what's next for you?
Us, Murray. We're going out on the town tonight.
What?
That's right. We're going to an East Side bar, and here's what I want you to do.
Another martini, Murray, please.
Bartender, a martini for the lady. And let's make this the last.
Oh, Murray.
You've been drinking too much, and you know it.
Murray, please.
Look, I know when you've had too many martinis. I don't know why I'm sap enough to keep ordering them for you.
Murray, I am all right. You're the one.
I'm the one. I'm as sober as a judge, and I can see what's happening to you.
Murray, this is very...
Murray. That's all I ever hear from you. I'm getting out of here. I'm sick of you whining and complaining. Goodbye.
Murray!
Hey, Honey,
What?
he ain't coming back. What are you drinking?
I don't drink with strangers.
I'm Harry Watson. How do you do? You see, now we're not strangers.
No, I'm not interested.
Ah, come on. Good-looking dame like you. Man runs out on her. Come on, let's have a little fun.
No, please, you don't understand. It's not like that at all.
Baby, I know all about what it's like. Believe me. And you're something.
Oh, you really think so?
Baby, I know so. What's your name?
Oh, well, Tina.
Tina what?
Oh, just Tina.
It's a pretty name. Come on, let's have another drink and let's get acquainted.
Well, all right. Maybe just one.
Hey, bartender, another... What are you drinking?
Martini.
Yeah, a martini.
Harry, do you really think that I'm attractive?
Sure I do. Would I be buying you a martini if I didn't?
You're not just feeling sorry for me.
Nah, of course not. You're interesting. And I wouldn't be surprised if things got more interesting later.
Oh, you'd be surprised, Harry. Would you ever be surprised?
And then what happened?
I drank the martini and left. I proved my point. Tomorrow I'm going to apply for a Social Security number and keep on good terms with Mrs. Gretsch. She's going to be important to us later on.
Look, Pete, don't you think you've carried the joke far enough?
What do you mean?
Look, you've proved you can be a convincing dame. It's been fun and funny. But you're not really serious about knocking some guy off and trying to make the insurance company think it's you.
Of course I'm serious. I might add that I am dead serious.
But that's murder.
Not really. Not with what I have in mind. Now stop worrying so much. Just think about that $50,000, and it's a lot closer than you think. I don't have to prove myself anymore, Murray. I can carry off the masquerade. The time has come for Act 2.
Act 2?
The victim. I have to find my corpse. We have to plan this carefully because when I leave here, I'll never return, you see, as Peter Vincent. Now, I want you to get a hotel room, some sleazy, out-of-the-way place where we can get past the desk clerk without being seen.
Whereabouts?
Near the Bowery, but not actually on it. Now, call me from there. I've got some preparations to make here, because today, Peter Vincent meets with his accident. Hello?
Pete?
Where are you, Murray?
The Hotel Matador, room 218.
I'll find it. Now, I'll meet you there in about an hour. Drop off the necessary things, and then, Murray, we'll go shopping for a corpse. What a neighborhood. Perfect hunting ground.
Yeah, if we get out alive.
They're all too drunk to care about anything but where their next drink is coming from. Look at that creature there. Let's try him.
You'll never get him on his feet.
You. Hey, wake up. Wake up. How would you like to make $10?
What, $10?
Enough to keep you in Muscatel for 2 weeks.
Hey, what do you guys want?
A little of your time.
I don't know you.
You will shortly, and all your troubles are going to be over.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Now, just come on. Come with us. We'll make you nice and comfortable.
Easy.
Isn't he perfect, Murray? He's so disgustingly depraved.
Yeah.
$10 for what?
For doing us and yourself a favor.
What's that?
Just please, come with us. Take it, Murray. Take his arm.
All
Take
right.
his arm.
All right.
All right. Let's get him to the hotel. Can you see anyone in the lobby?
No, just the clerk at the desk.
Do you think you can distract him?
Well, what's the difference? This place is full of guys in this condition.
I don't want any suspicions aroused. I want to get up to that room and out again without being seen.
Hey, wait a minute. The clerk's going toward the elevators.
Hey, what's this all about?
Shut up.
Huh?
He's gone up.
All right, now. Come on, move.
Let's take the stairs. It's only one flight up.
I hope that clerk hasn't gone to the second floor. If we do meet anyone, just keep going.
I can't.
Shut up and keep moving.
All right, now, wait a second. I'll check the hall.
Okay, stop it now.
Okay. I'll run ahead and open the door.
All right. I don't see how anyone who doesn't eat regularly could have so much weight.
$10, huh?
Well, we made it. All right, get him into that chair. Yeah. All right, now get the hot water going. My case has shaving cream, soap. I'll get these foul clothes off him. Oh, phew. A second thought. Murray, I'll run the tub. You undress him. I'd never have believed it. All it took was a shave, some cleaning up, my best suit, and he looks like a human being.
What's this all about? What?
It's just a joke on a friend. Now, look, here's a wallet. Now, lend me a 10 spot, will you, Murray? We did promise him. Now, here's your $10 in this wallet, see? Now, we'll just put it inside your coat like this, and you can keep the wallet, too, and the clothes. And there stands Peter Vincent. My clothes, all my identification, and heading for eternity. We'll wait till 5:15, the height of the subway rush hour.
Hey, this looks like home.
Move to the rear of the platform, Murray. That way, when the train passes us, it'll be going full speed. Look, this is ridiculous, Pete. We got 200 witnesses. Safety in numbers, Murray. We're lost in the crowd, and not one of them will know what's happened till it's all over. A man falls in front of a subway train. There'll be 30 different versions of what happened. We should have done this at 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, then we would have witnesses. We stand out like a red nose. Edge a little closer.
I want to lie down.
You will very soon. Murray, just before the train reaches the platform, let go of him. We both step back. And when he totters and falls, we lose ourselves in the confusion. Isn't there an easier way? It has to be an accident to collect the double indemnity. And I don't want any body left to identify. Just the wallet and my identification. Here it comes. All right, a little closer to the edge. Now step back, Murray. Split, Murray. I'll meet you back at the hotel. Have another drink, Murray. You'll feel better.
Oh, it seemed kind of cruel.
He was standing too close to the track. He was unsteady on his feet.
Yeah, we put him there.
Look, will you forget him? That was Peter Vincent who went under the wheels of the train. If you want to feel remorse, just remember it's for your brother-in-law. Your dear sister's husband.
All right, don't worry. I'll play along.
Look, we're really in this for keeps, Murray. We have to go through with it all the way because Peter Vincent is dead. I can't ever be Peter Vincent again without admitting to murder.
Well, what do we do now?
Act 3, brother dear. Tina's going to get dressed, go back to her husband's apartment, and wait to be told she's a widow.
Peter Vincent has certainly got himself into a tangled web. But that unabashed self-confidence of his has seen him through many a tight squeeze. Let's see if it carries him through this one final scheme, his greatest hoax, as he calls it, to set himself up for life. I'll be back shortly with Act 3.
Ever had a tall, frosty glass of Amplitude? Well, if your beer is Budweiser, you've had it often. Amplitude is a fancy word for the entire taste phenomenon, the total experience of flavor. Next time you take a healthy swallow of Bud, watch what happens. Think about the sensations you're experiencing. Notice how the flavor of Bud comes on nice and easy. Not too strong, not too quick, just right. Notice the clean, crisp togetherness of Bud's taste. Everything in perfect balance, with no single element jumping out at you. And there'll be no aftertaste either, no hanging on. And you'll be refreshed and ready for another glassful. Actually, Bud drinkers have been experiencing Amplitude for years, but they never phrase it that way. They just say Budweiser, and that says it all. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
There are some things you can only get with TWA. Plans that save you time and money the most convenient way. TWA.
This year, if you're vacationing in the U.S., there's TWA's Free Wheeler Plan. Here's what it gives you for $16 a day per person when two people are traveling together. A Hertz Pinto with unlimited mileage and a room at most Travelodges, Ramada Inns, or Sheraton hotels. There are a couple of conditions. You pay for gas and taxes, and you must return the car where you rented it. For full details of the $16 a day Free Wheeler Plan, call your travel agent or TWA.
Hello there, mystery cuckoos. Oh, this is Gene Shepard. Oh, speaking of mysteries, as far as I'm concerned, the greatest mystery of them all is the one that you used to see in the old movies. You remember when you were a kid and you'd go on a Saturday afternoon, you'd see these movies with guys like Charlie Chan in them, and there would always be a scene where these people are living in a haunted house that was owned by the dead Duchess or the dead Countess, and there was reputedly ghosts or something terrible there. And this girl is asleep in this bed, and the wind is blowing the curtains. And suddenly, a panel slowly opens up back of her bed, and she's asleep, and a creeping claw comes out, reaching for her throat. Ah! Oh, great Scott. Oh. You'll hear the rest of the story tonight at 9:15 on the Gene Shepard Show, Monday through Friday, of course. The creeping claw will get you. It will get you if you don't watch it.
So, Peter Vincent has been conveniently disposed of, to all intents and purposes, under the wheels of a speeding subway train. And now, Tina Vincent is back at the apartment, nervously awaiting the news of her husband's death.
Hello?
What's the word?
I told you not to call me tonight.
Well, I just want to know if anything's happened.
No, nothing yet. Now, I'll be in touch with you. Stay at that hotel. Look, there's the door. I've got to go. Who is it?
Police.
Police? What is it, officer?
I'm Detective Sergeant David, ma'am. This is the apartment of Peter Vincent.
Why, yes, it is.
You are Mrs. Vincent?
Yes?
There's been an accident, Mrs. Vincent. I'll have to ask you to come down with us to headquarters.
Wait, what is it? Has something happened to Peter?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, tell me.
He fell in front of a subway train at the Times Square station. I know this is painful for you, Mrs. Vincent.
Yes, this is Peter's wallet, all right. The cigarette lighter I gave him for his birthday. And this is all that's left?
Well, there's no use asking you to identify the body.
What happened?
Well, until we find the complete report, there's nothing official. The witnesses' stories differ. Now, all we know is that he fell in front of that train. We don't know how or why. Do you know where your husband was going?
No, not really. He just said he was heading downtown.
Did he often do that? I mean, go without telling you where he was going.
Well, Peter had been drinking heavily for several days.
Oh, well, that's important. It may have a strong bearing.
Do you suppose he passed out?
We'll have to hold judgment on that, Mrs. Vincent. We may need more information from you.
Yes, of course.
Well, that's all for now. We'll get you back home. Unless there's some other place you want to go. A friend's, perhaps.
No, thank you. I'll go back to the apartment. Call my brother to be with me.
Stop worrying, Murray. You're absolutely in no danger. I'm the one with my neck out.
Suppose there is some way to identify that bum.
Well, there isn't. The police told me that themselves. There wasn't enough left to identify. That's exactly what I wanted. Besides, it's been 3 days. Hold it.
I've got to get in character. Hello?
Mrs. Vincent? Sergeant David again.
Yes, Sergeant.
We're closing the file on Mr. Vincent. Several witnesses corroborated the fact that Mr. Vincent was unsteady on his feet, and a lab report showed a high level of alcohol in parts of the body. Death was accidental, with inebriation a contributing factor.
I see.
If you'll come down to headquarters and sign a few papers, we'll release the remains for burial, and you'll receive the death certificate. You'll need that for any insurance Mr. Vincent may have had.
Yes, thank you. I'll be there this afternoon.
Thank you, Mrs. Vincent. And I'm sorry.
Case closed. Witnesses said he was unsteady on his feet. Death was accidental, etc., etc., etc. Hey, we have to arrange for my burial, Murray. We've got to go all the way to keep up appearances. But, hey, look, Murray, do me a favor. Make it simple, Murray. A simple burial. I really would have wanted it that way. Yes, who is it?
I'm from the Independent Insurance Company. I'm looking for Mrs. Tina Vincent.
Oh, just a minute. I'm Mrs. Vincent.
May I come in?
Yes, certainly.
Richard Stevens, Mrs. Vincent, my card. First, I want to offer my sympathy.
Thank you.
I know these times are hard to live through, but the living must go on living.
Yes.
Mrs. Vincent, you made a claim on your husband's policy with our company. Term life policy number H22098, $25,000, double indemnity.
Yes, is anything wrong?
Oh, no. The death certificate was in order. Premiums were up to date. I'd just like to ask a few questions, if you don't mind.
I'm afraid that I don't understand.
Well, you see, Mrs. Vincent, in accidents of this kind, we just want to rule out certain exigencies.
Well, if you have any questions about my husband's death, I'm sure you'll find the answers in the police report.
Not all of them. Was your husband given to heavy drinking, Mrs. Vincent?
Mr. Vincent drank at times, yes.
Was he disturbed about anything in particular?
Mr. Stevens, if you're trying to suggest my husband's death was a suicide, you are very mistaken.
Well, we always try to get to the bottom of accident cases when there's double indemnity involved. But I think you have a legitimate claim.
There's no further problem, then?
I don't think so. I'll be running along.
When can I expect the check?
Well, we'll have it out to you before the end of the week. Good day, Mrs. Vincent.
Goodbye.
Oh, excuse me. You've been to see Mrs. Vincent. Are you a doctor?
No.
Oh, well, I'm Mrs. Gretsch, the superintendent. How is she? She seems to have held up well so far, poor thing.
Oh, she seems well. How long have the Vincents lived here, Mrs. Gretsch?
And who are you to be asking?
I'm investigating her insurance claim.
Ah. Well, if it'll help Mrs. Vincent get what's coming to her, I'll be glad to help, too. I guess it won't hurt to answer your questions.
Was Mr. Vincent a heavy drinker?
Oh, not that I know of. Of course, I don't snoop into the tenant's business.
How about Mrs. Vincent?
Well, I don't know much about her. She only just got here.
What do you mean?
Oh, well, you see, they've been separated. She only arrived here a week ago for a reconciliation, her brother said.
Her brother?
Yeah. He and Mr. Vincent are good friends.
I see. Well, thank you, Mrs. Gretsch. You've been very helpful.
Calm down, Dick.
Hank, I just know this dame and her brother did that Vincent guy in for the insurance. It all adds up. They were separated. All of a sudden, she shows up on the scene. Boom, he's dead, and she's $50,000 richer.
Where's your proof?
I haven't got any. But I'm going to do a little checking on Mrs. Vincent.
The guy's death was accidental. Now, how can you prove she had anything to do with it?
That's what I'm paid to find out.
This is the first time I've seen you lose your cool.
I'm sick of hanging around like this, but I don't dare let down the masquerade. I want to get that money and get out of here.
Maybe you should have gone down to the insurance company.
Yes, who is it?
Richard Stevens from Independent Insurance.
Just a minute. Come in.
Thank you.
This is my brother, Mr. Wilcox, Mr. Stevens.
How do you do?
How do you do?
I'm sorry for the delay, Mrs. Vincent, but as I said, we have to be careful.
When can I expect the money, Mr. Stevens?
Well, in the next mail. Now, if you'll just sign this form.
Very well. Anything to get this over with.
Sign here and here.
I hope this is the end of it.
So do I. Oh, my pen, please.
Yes.
I hope I haven't inconvenienced you, but you do understand.
My sister's been under a great strain, Mr. Stevens.
Yes, I imagine she has. Well, good day, and good luck.
There's something in his manner I don't like.
He's paid to be suspicious.
Well, he's sure earning his money.
Murray, here it is, the check, $50,000.
I don't believe it.
Mexico, here I come. Murray, I'm on my way to the bank. Make me a plane reservation for Acapulco. Now, I'll be right back to give you your split, and then I'm splitting for Sonny Mayhew.
No, we're going to the bank.
You don't trust me, eh?
Not at this point in time, no.
You know, you are totally unprincipled, Murray. But what would I have done without you? Come on, I'm not even packing. You're welcome to the apartment, the furniture, and Mrs. Gretsch.
Thanks.
Now for my final performance.
There you are, Mrs. Vincent. 50,000 in 50s and 100s. And I can't tell you how sorry I am about your husband. You were saving for a vacation, weren't you?
Yes, I'm surprised that you remember.
Well, again, my sympathy. And good luck.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mrs. Vincent.
Oh, Mr. Stevens.
Did you cash the check, Mrs. Vincent?
Why, yes.
Okay, Hank.
You're under arrest.
What is this?
We'll talk about it at headquarters. You're under arrest for suspicion of fraud and murder.
You can drop the pose now, Mrs. Vincent.
This is preposterous.
Yes, it is. And so is this.
Stop, my hair.
Your wig, Mr. Vincent. And my compliments. You're a most convincing actor.
I was afraid of this.
How did you know?
We were ready to pay the claim until I learned that your wife had just arrived in town.
Mrs. Gretsch.
Yeah, some support.
I thought Mrs. Vincent and her so-called brother here had killed you for the insurance. So I decided to do some checking up on Mrs. Vincent. I needed her fingerprints, and I got them from the pen she, or rather you, signed these forms with. Remember?
Yes.
Now it happens that in checking out the deceased Mr. Vincent, I learned he applied for a passport some years back. I had his fingerprints, too. And what do you think I discovered?
I can hardly guess.
That the prints on both Mr. Peter Vincent and Mrs. Tina Vincent were identical.
How extraordinary.
So I knew what your hoax was, Mr. Vincent, because no matter how much a man and wife share in a marriage, they can never share the same fingerprints.
Peter Vincent's greatest hoax indeed proved to be his last. It's too bad he cashed that insurance check, because until then, it was really only attempted fraud. But then I wonder if that isn't exactly what the insurance man wanted him to do. And, of course, there was murder to answer for. If there is a lesson here somewhere, I suppose it's always be yourself. Unless, of course, you know where to pick up an extra set of fingerprints. I'll be back shortly.
I want that sinus medicine.
Headache tablets?
No, sinus medicine. Sinus tablets. Helps the headache and the pressure.
Oh, you mean sign-off.
Exactly.
Headache pain is one thing. A sinus headache is something else. Sometimes your whole face can seem to throb with pain. You want relief. Take Sign-Off tablets. SINEOFF, the sinus medicine that gives you a full dose of pure aspirin plus a sinus drainer. Sign-Off, the sinus medicine that helps relieve sinus pain while you drain. And Sign-Off doesn't stop there. Have you tried Sign-Off Sinus Spray, the fastest known form of sinus congestion relief? It works in seconds. That's Sign-Off Sinus Spray. When sinus flares up, use Sign-Off tablets and spray, only as directed.
SINEOFF.
Sign-Off.
Exactly.
Sign-Off, the sinus medicines in the bright red box.
Hello.
Ms. Goldilocks here, and welcome to my professional taste testing laboratory. Oh, Papa Bear, could you bring that case of sugar-free Diet 7-Up over here?
Another case? Miss Goldilocks, you're drinking the sugar-free Diet 7-Up like there's no tomorrow. You can't still be taste testing it.
Oh, no, Papa Bear. Sugar-free Diet 7-Up has already earned my seal of approval. It's fresh, light, natural, delicious. I drink it because I love its taste. Now hurry up.
Okay, here.
This sugar-free Diet 7-Up really tastes delicious. Ladies, if you're tired of switching from one diet drink to another, take some advice from Ms. Goldilocks. Try sugar-free Diet 7-Up and you'll say, yes, this one's just right.
I'll bear witness to that, Goldie.
Five-borough Buick dealers are beating the drums for their new trade-in posts. That big car of yours, the one you thought you couldn't give away, well, they want to buy it. You loved that big car when you bought it back in 70 or 71. It served you long and well and cost you hard-earned dollars. Now you figure it's time to trade, but everyone's telling you that big cars are worthless. No one wants a big used car. Not true. Your Five-borough Buick dealer needs used cars. Big ones, small ones, all sizes. This very minute, he'll give you hundreds of dollars over your car's listed book value as a trade-in on any new Buick, from Electra to Apollo and even on the Opal. So visit a Five-borough Buick dealer today, where you'll get more money for your car and more car for your money.
Your trade-in post in Forest Hills is Maury Buick at 11827 Queens Boulevard at Union Turnpike. In Brooklyn, it's Richard Buick at 5102 Kings Highway.
Akko and Earl Hammond. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by Sign-Off, the Sinus Medicines, Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, Brewers of Budweiser, and the Kellogg Company, makers of Kellogg's Special K cereal. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
The WOR Mystery Theater was brought to you by ShopRite Supermarkets, where you get a lot more for a little less. And by Suburban Savings, with offices throughout North Jersey. The preceding Mystery Theater program was furnished by the CBS Radio Network.
This is Sherry Henry, and paranoia is the subject of my Friday show at 2:15.
WOR New York.
I'm Fulton Lewis in the Mutual Broadcasting System studios in Washington, D.C. Now, my commentary. There were a lot of new developments on the impeachment and White House Watergate tapes fronts today. First, and perhaps foremost, the House Judiciary Committee notified the president today that it might consider his refusal to supply subpoenaed Watergate evidence an indication that the material is damaging to his position. Also on the committee's agenda was consideration of issuing subpoenas for still more material for its impeachment inquiry. In its letter to the president, the committee also warned that his refusal to obey its subpoena could be taken as a ground for impeachment. The letter, approved by a 28-10 vote, called the president's refusal a grave matter. It then said, quote, "In meeting their constitutional responsibility, committee members will be free to consider whether your refusals warrant the drawing of adverse inferences concerning the substance of the materials, and whether your refusals in and of themselves might constitute a ground for impeachment." After that committee vote, White House Press Secretary Ron Ziegler said that the committee's contention is not a valid inference. He added, "A vote on impeachment should not be based on an inference. It should be based on a complete assessment of the information before the committee." The committee, meeting in open session the day after it completed the first phase of its impeachment inquiry, rejected proposals for a harsher response and also to get a court ruling on the controversy. Alabama Democrat Representative Walter Flowers called the letter a reasonable response to what I feel is an unreasonable response by the White House. Illinois Republican Representative Robert McClory said that in subpoenaing tapes of Watergate conversations, the committee acted only out of duty, not to strengthen or weaken the office of the presidency. He added, "We acted to expedite the resolution of our inquiry, not to delay it. We acted ultimately to restore confidence in the office, not to destroy confidentiality." Asked what the practical effect of sending that letter would be, John Doerr, the chief counsel for the impeachment inquiry, said, "The legal effect of this letter will be to put the President of the United States on notice that the committee has concluded that he has disobeyed its subpoena." In a letter to Chairman Peter Rodino, dated May 22nd, Mr. Nixon said that he would not obey committee subpoenas demanding tapes of 11 Watergate conversations and records of presidential appointments over an 8.5-month period. The president wrote to Rodino, quote, "The committee has the full story of Watergate insofar as it relates to presidential knowledge and presidential actions. Production of these additional conversations would merely prolong the inquiry without yielding significant additional evidence." The president said he not only would not produce the subpoenaed material, but that he would reject demands for Watergate evidence that may be called for in such further subpoenas as may hereafter be issued. There was one other development today on the Watergate front. U.S. District Court Judge Sirica refused to allow the House impeachment inquiry to hear portions of 4 tape recordings for which President Nixon has claimed executive privilege. The judge said that he was actually powerless to meet the request of the committee that was made orally on Tuesday in a closed chambers conference. The judge last December 19th upheld the privilege claims regarding the 4 tapes. The committee had asked all federal judges with Watergate and related cases to allow it access to material sealed from public record. Judge Sirica said that he had honored most of the requests in cases before him after conferring with the White House, the prosecution, and defense attorneys. The originals of the 4 tapes involved 2 conversations on June 20th of 1972 and 1 each on June 30th and September 15th are all in Judge Sirica's private custody. Copies of the tapes, minus the portions deemed privileged by the judge, went to the grand jury and to the House Judiciary Committee. From the Mutual Studios in Washington, I'm Fulton Lewis, and that's the top of the news as it looks from here.
Now it is time to go back to Dodge City with Gunsmoke.
Around Dodge City and in the territory on West, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with a U.S. Marshal and the smell of Gunsmoke. Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad, the story of the violence that moved west with young America, and the story of a man who moved with it.
I'm that man, Matt Dillon, United States Marshal. The first man they look for and the last they want to meet. It's a chancy job, and it makes a man watchful and a little lonely. Marshal. Chester. How are you, Schuyler? Is young Danny Leeds around?
Yeah, room 14, straight down the hall.
No, thanks.
He checked in last night.
Mr. Dillon, you suppose Danny and his pa's had another scrap of some kind?
I might have. Old Cater's pretty hard to get along with. I'm surprised the boy stood it as long as he has.
Well, it sure was a funny-sounding note he sent over to the office. What do you make of it?
Chester, if I could make anything of it, we wouldn't have to come here asking, would we?
I didn't think you'd Marshal Dillon.
Morning, Danny. Mind if we come in?
Well, I was just about to go out.
Well, it won't take a minute. I just wanted to find out what you meant by this note, Danny.
You better go on out to the farm and ask my pa.
Oh, I'm going to, but I just thought maybe you could give me some idea first.
You better talk to him, Marshal.
How is he, anyway? Last time I saw him, he was having some trouble.
He never changes, you know that. Except to get meaner.
Oh. You two have trouble, did you?
We had trouble, yeah.
That's why you stayed here in town last night, huh?
I walked out, Marshal, and I ain't going back. I've took all off him, I'm going to. Now, look, I got some things to do now, so
Did the trouble have anything to do with this note?
Not exactly. He wanted you to come out to the farm. I told him I'd pass the word to you. Look, Marshal, he can tell you all this. I haven't got time
You
now.
got time to answer a couple of questions, Danny. Now, what does he want to see me about?
It's trespassers again. They're camping down by the pond to be close to water.
Oh?
They ain't heard nothing. We don't even use that lower section. But that don't make no difference to him.
Your pa's always been like that.
Trouble is, he thinks the whole world's his, and everybody in it, including me. But I ain't a kid no more. That he can cuss at and take a whip.
Are you expecting somebody?
Well, not exactly. I
We'd better find out who it is, hadn't we?
But, no, wait, Marshal.
Good morning, young lady.
Naomi.
I am come to see you, Danny, like I say I am.
This is Marshal Dillon and Chester Proudfoot. This is Naomi.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Hey, friends of Danny, it's friends of me.
Look, Naomi, they're just going. You wait here. I'll walk out with them. You coming, Marshal?
Yeah, okay, Danny. Pleasure meeting you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Goodbye.
Look, Marshal, it ain't like you're thinking.
I wasn't thinking anything, Danny. Naomi there, she's a gypsy, isn't she?
Well, what of it?
And those trespassers camping out at your pa's farm?
All right, they're gypsies, and she's one of them. What about it?
Now, you're asking for trouble, Danny.
You sound just like my pa.
Gypsies take care of their own. They make their own laws. And they're pretty strict laws.
Why don't you let me worry about it, huh?
Well, that's what you'll do, Danny, if you're smart. You'll worry about it a lot.
I reckon there's one flag the whole world knows and mostly respects. It's on a stamp here in my album, that the United States Post Office put out in October 1963 to honor the 100th birthday of the International Red Cross. I'll find it here now. Now, maybe you didn't know there are two Red Cross organizations. Both of them started in Geneva, Switzerland, and had headquarters there. But they each do different jobs. Yeah, this stamp shows how one of them helped free anti-Castro Cuban fighters who got captured at the Bay of Pigs. That's what the International Committee of the Red Cross does as a neutral body, making arrangements for exchange of prisoners, trying to protect sick and wounded soldiers, and helping civilians and refugees in war areas. The other is the League of Red Cross Societies. It operates in almost 90 countries, giving aid in every kind of emergency or disaster and carrying on health, safety, and relief projects. I kind of figure this is one of the best stamps in my book.
Here, Mr. Dillon.
Well, he ought to. He's put 20 hours a day on it for the last 10 years. Hey, Cater.
Oh! Morning, Marshal. Chester. Just a minute till I jump out the rest of this feed. There. Eat your heads off now, you mangy varmints. Put some weight on. Any fool that tries to raise hogs on the prairie just ain't got good sense, Marshal.
Now, they look all right to me.
Yeah, they won't make a cent. Costs more to feed them than they're worth. Kind of took your time coming out, didn't you?
Well, if you call 3 hours taking our time, that's when I got your note.
Yeah, that worthless young pup. I told him to tell you last night as soon as he got in town. Come over here and sit in the shade.
All right. Cater, you and Danny have an argument?
I talked, and he listened. He ain't got the gumption to argue.
He tells me he's not coming back home.
And he'll come back. He'd starve to death if he had to feed himself. Somebody'll yell boo at him in the dark, and he'll come hightailing back fast.
I'm afraid I don't agree with you, Cater. Danny always looked to me like a pretty decent kid.
He ain't worth the powder to blow him up. And the last straw was when he was too lily-livered to run them trespassers off.
Oh, why don't you leave those people alone, Cater? They're figuring to move on by the end of the week anyway.
Sure, and take half the farm with them, like as not. I'm missing 5 pullets now. Stole just since they've been there.
Now, that might have been a coyote or a weasel, maybe.
Yeah, and it might have been that pack of thieving gypsies, too. Marshal, I didn't build this farm by putting up the squatters, and I ain't about to start now. I fought for this land, every square foot of it. And I'll keep right on fighting.
Times are different from when they were when you first came to the prairie, Cater.
Yeah, people ain't. They're all out to take what you got away from you. You always got to keep outguessing them and out-fighting them. That's what I tried to learn that boy of mine. But he ain't got the backbone of an angleworm. Why, he didn't even take a gun when I sent him over to run them thieving gypsies out.
You know, Cater, there are other answers in this world besides guns.
Yeah, but it was guns that won this country. And they'll keep on winning it, too. You pack one yourself, don't you, Marshal?
Yeah, I use it to enforce the law, but not to settle every personal argument that comes along.
Well, then start enforcing the law. Now, you go over there and talk to them gypsies and tell them to get out.
I have talked to them. Chester and I just came from there.
Did you run them out?
They're repairing their wagons, building wheels, and setting hubs. They'll try to pull out sometime tomorrow.
Yeah, so they outbluffed you, too, did they? What'd they do? Dangle one of their women in front of you? That's what they done with Danny.
Oh?
Yeah, I seen what was going on. He was sweet-eyeing one of them all week. And she was letting him, too.
Now, listen a minute,
Now, you
Peter.
look your duty, Marshal. Stop taking up for them foreigners.
Will you listen to me, I said? Now, those people are touchy enough at best. If you go insulting them, you're going to have some real trouble on your hands.
Gypsies are bad luck, and I want them out of there.
They'll be out by tomorrow evening. And in the meantime, you leave that rifle of yours in the house. And stay away from that pond. You understand?
Matt, if words were dollars, you'd be the biggest miser in the Long Branch.
Huh? Well, what do you mean, Kitty?
Well, you sure haven't been talking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And what's worse, you haven't been listening to me.
I thought there was more to it. Okay, what were you saying?
Oh, I don't remember. But it's a principle. Girl can't stand being ignored.
Ignored? Well, in that dress you're wearing, you'd be pretty hard to ignore.
Oh, it's not that skimpy. Well, it's the latest thing.
Oh, it's fine, Kitty. It's fine. Oh, I don't know, Kitty. I guess I'm just kind of down this evening.
Oh, trouble?
Not yet, but I just got a feeling there's going to be.
What do you mean?
I don't know. It's just a hunch.
Well, why don't you go get your fortune told? There's a band of gypsies in town.
Oh? How did you know?
Some of them were in here. Not drinking or anything, just looking around.
Oh, is that so?
Did you know young Danny Leeds has got himself a gypsy girl? She's pretty as a picture. I saw him in the restaurant.
Tell me, Kitty, is she still in town?
Well, she was a couple of hours ago. Why, Matt? Something wrong?
Oh, no, I guess not. I suppose he ought to have a chance to find at least one thing for himself in this world. Old Cater's never let him call a breath his own.
I like Danny. He's a good boy. But that Cater...
Well, sod busting's a rough life, Kitty. Makes a man either mean or wise, or else it kills him. So far, it's just made Cater mean.
Oh, he was born that way, Matt. All he's got in the world is his son. You'd think you'd treat him decent.
Mr. Dillon, you better come on over to the depot.
Oh, what is it, Chester?
Danny Leach's been hurting real bad. He's unconscious.
Huh? All right, I'll meet you there. You go get Doc. How is he, Doc?
Oh, he'll be all right, Matt. Just been beat up a little. He had a bad whack on the head there. Oh, well, he's coming around. Wake up, lad. Come on now, boy. You can't sleep forever. Anybody know how it happened?
No, the station agent come out and seen him laying there.
That's it. Come on, Danny, man. Back to the world of the living.
What is it? Huh? What happened?
Well, that's what I was about to ask you, Danny. What did happen?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just waiting here till train time. Where is she? Huh? Where's Naomi?
Easy now, boy.
They took her.
Who took her, Danny?
The gypsies. She said they would. She said they would if we didn't get away in time.
What's she mean, gypsy?
Well, later, Doc, later. Go on, Danny.
We was aiming to leave, going to Kansas City. I got tickets on the train.
Oh, you're not in any shape to travel, son.
Yeah. We got here early. Stayed right down here at the end of the platform, out of sight. Naomi was scared. She said it was going to end bad. She was right. We was aiming to get married in Kansas City, Marshal.
I'm sorry, Danny.
They come out of the shadows there, 8 or 10 of them. Next thing I knowed, they grabbed Naomi. They come at me with knives. Then one of them hit me from behind. That's all I know. Let me go, Doc.
Oh, you're in no condition to be standing up, Danny.
I never have stood up, Doc.
Here, boy.
Let go. I didn't stand up when they come and took her. I didn't lift a hand.
You couldn't have done anything, Danny.
Maybe Pa's right. If you want anything, if you want to keep it, you got to hit out at anybody that gets close. Hit him first. That's the way Pa thinks.
And he's hated for it, Danny. He hasn't got a friend in the world.
Well, what have I got? The only thing I ever wanted. The only person that ever thought I amounted to something. And I let them come and take her back without even fighting for her.
Why don't you go over to your room and rest a while, Danny?
Go to bed without my supper? Is that what you mean?
Oh, now, Danny,
And what are you all gaping at? Ain't you ever never seen a coward before?
Take it easy now, Danny.
I gotta get out of here, Marshal. I gotta get out of here before I bust wide open.
Because the train's pulling out right on time for once.
Yeah. It's too bad this happened. Danny and that girl might have got on fine.
What girl are you talking about, man? I'd like to know what's going on here once in a while, too.
Hey, what's the idea? Come back here. Marshal, you see that?
See what, mister?
That young fella, the one that was hurt, he grabbed my gun out of my holster and lit out on that horse like the old Nick was after him.
Let's get our horses, Chester.
Hometowns in America have a lot in common, and yet they're each one of a kind. Take, for example, Stillwater, Oklahoma. And when you're taking Stillwater, you get with it Oklahoma State University, because the town is the university, and the university is the town. And any student from these parts who's really serious about animal husbandry, veterinary medicine, or engineering will be there. He'll likely belong to Sigma Nu, or maybe be a Beta. And she'll become one of the KKGs, or possibly pledge to Theta. His bright new blazer is from Bates Brothers down at the end of University Avenue in the campus corner. And her latest mod is from Bonnie's in the Student Union. Downtown's a 10-minute walk. And you can't miss the new First National Bank, because it's right across Maine from the old. About 10 miles out, you can water ski on Lake Carl Blackwell, or go somewhat farther to O'Keene for the annual rattlesnake hunt. But if your hometown is Stillwater, you already know this. We only wanted to remind you it's still there.
Here we are, Chester.
Yeah, but them gypsies has pulled out, Mr. Dillon. They broke camp and pulled out.
Yeah. And I guess that business at the depot got them spooked. But I'd have bet anything that this is where Danny was heading.
Maybe we passed him somewhere between here and Dodge. Somebody's over there, Mr. Dillon. In the shadows under them trees there.
Yeah. Hey, Danny, is that you?
Yeah, it's me, Marshal.
Come on, Chester.
Clear, it's blacker than the inside of a cow around here. A fella could fall right smack into that pond.
Yeah.
You come out to wet nurse me back to town, Marshal?
Well, you're saying that, Danny. I'm not.
I guess you can see for yourself. They pulled out. Gone.
Yeah, they sure have.
I'm going after him, Marshal. I'll find him if it takes me 10 years.
Now, don't be a fool, Danny.
Oh, that's what I've been all right, but I ain't now. She didn't want to go, Marshal. They took her against her will, and I'm going after her.
Danny, they'd kill her before they'd let her marry an outsider. That's the way gypsies are.
Maybe I can change their minds. Pa's way. Talking over the sights of a gun.
Yeah, but his way's not yours, Danny, and you're better off it's not.
It's got him everything he wanted.
Has it?
There ain't no use arguing about it, Marshal. And you got no right to stop me.
I wasn't figuring to stop you, Danny. Not that way.
Well, then I'll be riding out, Marshal. I'll try to cover the trail. The longer they go, the harder it's going to be to find. Get out!
I seen the flash, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah. He's over there in that brush. Chester, when I fire, you'll roll away fast, huh?
Yes, sir.
All right.
You all right, Mr. Dillon?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Some of them gypsies must have stayed behind.
Yeah, maybe.
Is Danny over there with you, Mr. Dillon?
Yeah. Yeah, he's here, Chester.
Get on out of there, you thieving varmints, or you'll get more of the same.
It's old Cater.
Yeah.
There's a posse of 100 of us out here in the brush.
Cater, it's Matt Dillon.
Marshal?
Put that rifle down and come on out.
Sure, Marshal. I got no fight with you. What happened to them gypsies?
They pulled out. Maybe you ought to check on it before you started shooting.
Well, I heard horses and talk, and I naturally figured it was them. Now, don't plague me about it, Marshal. I paid for it good and proper.
What do you mean?
You're a pretty good shot in the dark. You put a bullet right through my arm.
Now, you're a better shot, Cater. You put one right through your son's head. Yeah, you paid for it, all right.
When it comes to political terminology, I guess that old character Elijah Cuddlestone has used it all. For instance, and I say that all of them, every man jacked and nominated to run against me is cast in the same mold, poured out of the same bottle, chips off of the same political stump. There's no choice among them, that is. Fact is, I say that it's a fact that you'll see them ring in a dark horse candidate, a dark horse, that is, Because they can't make up their minds otherwise. What I mean. Well, dark horse in the political sense in which Elijah used it means pretty much as he explained it. An unexpected nominee brought in to break a deadlocked balloting for a candidate from among the leading nominees. Presidents Polk, Pierce, Garfield, and Harding were dark horses. Originally, dark horse was a racing term for a horse whose abilities were kept in the dark until displayed in the race.
Gunsmoke. Produced and directed by Norman McDonald. Stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Featured in the cast were Parley Bear as Chester, Howard McNear as Doc, and Georgia Ellis as Kitty. George Walsh speaking. Join us again next week for another specially transcribed story on Gunsmoke. This is the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.